Holy shit, how to do it now? Oh fuck. Okay. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome everybody. We start the party. Okay. Still have one thing to do. In here, we need to repair the ver stream. Stop. Like this. I want to add new scene. I would like to add a new source, and that's gonna be a window. Let's talk today. Let's talk, guys. Let's chat. Let's have some discussion. I'm curious about who gonna say what. Curious about your opinions. We're gonna see few of mine. Shall see. And now we need to eat the noodles. I'm hungry as hell. I eat shit. I need to do it right now. So, for the first point, to make this on the YouTube, window capture, add existing, add source, and we have it in here. Beautiful. Right now we need to fit it a little bit. We need to fit it a little bit. To fit it a little bit. Big. To fit it a little bit. Big. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. We got it. TV is turned off. I think it's turned off. Okay. So, guys, because soon we have the premiere of Resident Evil. When you're watching this, we already probably have it. But for these people who are interested in understanding different one. So, at this moment, I'm waiting on a release of Resident Evil Requiem. I'm going on YouTube to see some videos and get some vibe to play it. And one of the first things what I see is Resident Evil 9 gameplay walkthrough. A little bit funny, don't you think? A little bit fucked up. So, before you buy, what do we have in here? Okay. Now I need to check. Now I need to check how it sounds on a stream. Let's go in here. Hmm. I have no clue. We need to ask Uncle Google how to capture the sound from the Google Chrome. Okay, let's check how it works.
Him for the first time, you might be left wondering what the hell is going on.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Here is a very
1 2 1
condensed
2. Test
synopsis
of
of
the
the main
microphone.
Resident Evil story and everything
1
you
2
need to
1
know
2 1
leading
2.
into Resident Evil
Hey, hey,
Requiem.
hey.
Warning. Him for the first time, you might be left wondering what the hell is going on.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
here is a very
1 2 1
condensed
2
synopsis
test of the
main
microphone.
Resident Evil story and everything
1
you
2
need to
1
know
2 1
leading
2.
into Resident Evil
Hey hey
Requiem.
hey.
Warning.
I have an idea. I have an idea. Okej, mamy mikrofon. Teraz trzeba... Jak to kurwa kręcić? Aha, dobra, mamy to. Okej, mamy mikrofon. Jeszcze trzeba... Teraz... Mamy to. We have it, guys. Oh my gosh. Please work. No way I just broke it. No way. Shit. We have it, guys. Oh my gosh. It has nothing under it. No way I just broke it. No way. A little bit tough. Okay, and if I'm gonna just put this. Shit. We have it, guys. Oh my gosh. It has nothing. Shit. No way I just broke it. No way. A little bit tough. A little bit crazy situation at this moment. If I'm gonna just put this. Shit. A little bit crazy situation at this moment. Need to be something a little bit fatter, a little bit fatter. Shit. Need to be something a little bit fatter, a little bit fatter. Shit. That's why they call me Polish engineer. That's why. Bang. A little bit fatter. Shit. One and a half. That's why they call me Polish engineer. Yes. That's why. Bang. If you need to know, look. I wanna put my thing here. But the table, you can see shit. Do like this. Yes. Everything for you guys. But look, the table is not flat in here. But so the mic is unstable as fuck. Gonna drop 100%, 100%. So the thing what we need to do, everything for you guys. I'm gonna put this piece of paper inside. The table is not flat in here. First, need to make it close a little bit. Now I'm gonna make it on half one more time. And put it in here. I'm gonna put this piece of paper inside. First, need to make it close a little bit. Now I'm gonna make it on half one more time. And put it in here. Oh. A little bit better. Now, piece of paper in here. Because we don't want to break the glass. Oh. A little bit better. Now, piece of paper in here. What if I would this on another piece of paper? Like that. If I would this, and this piece of paper was just dropped. I'm gonna put inside. Maybe even on how. Yeah, that's a good idea. Now, and this piece of paper was just dropped. I'm gonna put inside. Maybe even on how. Yeah, that's a good idea. Now, I don't like it. I don't fucking like it. Like it. Holy shit. How to do this shit? How to do it? How to do it? Ding, ding, ding. Okay, and if I'm gonna add holy shit wooden stick. How to do this shit? How to do it? Can be better. Ding, ding, ding. Let's try it out. I'm gonna add beautiful. Stage one completed. Stage one completed, guys. We have it. Can be better. Now I'm gonna make a little bit More space. Beautiful. Stage 1 completed. Stage 1 completed, guys. We have it. Now we can give the sticks. Now I'm gonna make a little bit more space. Stage 1 completed. Stage 1 completed, guys. We have it. Now we can give the sticks. Power. We have it. Mission succeed. Holy shit. Now what with this? We have it. Mission succeed. Holy shit. Now what with this? Holy shit. I succeed. For a moment I was thinking that this shit is impossible. Okay. And how it looks? Can you see it? I don't think you can see it. Okay. That's beautiful. Now only thing what we need to do is check. For a moment I was thinking that this shit is impossible. Okay. And how it looks? Can you see it? I don't think you can see it. Okay. That's beautiful. Now only thing what we need to do is check. Okay. Let's lower a little bit. This. Let's check resident.
The following contains spoilers.
Resident Evil 0.
July 23rd, 1998. Raccoon City Police
That's-
Bravo team is
that's how I'm gonna watch it. And now I'm curious how you will hear it. Because that's also important.
Makes her way towards a spooky-looking mansion nearby to find the rest of Bravo team. Before she can arrive, Rebecca, along with her newly acquired convict companion Billy Cohen, arrive at an abandoned training facility. Discovering that its former director, Dr. James Marcus, along with former partner Oswald E. Spencer, was responsible for a new biological weapon dubbed the T-Virus.
Okay.
That turns humans into zombies and other monstrosities.
So, how it sounds. Let's check it. Okay. So, why I can hear double at this time? the scope. Okay, let's play different one. Bank. Why I can hear double? Why I can hear double? 1 2 1 2. Okay, so let's change the microphone. Now what we have? Uncle Samson, vertical, advanced, Samson. Yes, I have monitor off, so I don't understand why it's still. Listen to this device in Windows. Yes, I have monitor off. Sure, great, but first I need to cover my audio struggles. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Gonna eat noodle for you. Starting to be pissed off. So I need to eat some. Bang, bang. Okay. Hmm. So I don't understand why.
Scroll down a bit and look for the advanced section. Under monitoring device, choose your headphones or speaker. Then click apply and close. Next, go to the audio.
Matters advanced. Advanced. Monitoring device. Speakers. Headphones. Apply.
Mixer, right-click anywhere and select Advanced Audio Properties. In there, you'll see all of your audio devices. For your output device like desktop audio or a capture card, set the audio monitoring option to monitor and output. This way, the audio will play both you and your. In there, you'll see all of your audio devices. For your output device like desktop audio or a capture.
Desktop audio. Monitor and output. Okay, now I hear myself also. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Test of the microphone. Right. Still. Listen to the headphones. Apply. Desktop audio. Monitor and output. Okay, now I hear myself also. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Test of the microphone. Right. Still. Listen to the headphones.
Capture card, set the audio monitoring option,
Apply.
monitor and output. This way, the audio will play both you and your stream or recording at the same time. This should fix most audio problems in OBS. Set the audio monitoring option, monitor and output. This way, the audio will play both you and your stream or recording at the same time. This should fix most audio problems in OBS.
Desktop audio.
Advanced audio properties. In there, you'll see all of your audio
Monitor
devices.
and
For your output
output.
device like desktop
Okay,
audio
now I
or a
hear
capture
myself
card, set the
also.
audio monitoring option to monitor and output. This way, the audio will play both you and your stream or recording at the same time.
That's not the struggle what I was asking, Google. Shit, it's gonna loop itself. Oh, maybe that is it. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, P15. Shit. Oh, kurwa. Fucking mousepad. Fuck this shit. And that's not this shit. Mm-hmm.
And what if I were gonna silence one desktop? One two one two one two. And now it just repaired itself, or what the fuck is going on? Okay, so let's check. Let's check with resident. Maybe now it's okay. Oh yeah, pierdole. I've done nothing. The microphone just repaired itself, and my Chrome window just stopped working. I'm curious what's gonna happen in the next 10 minutes. This work is fighting with the wind catchers. And monitor off. Right now, let's do like this. Let's close it. Let's play something. Requiem.
The gang splits up and
Bank.
discovers the horrible fates of fallen
We
Stars
got it.
members due to the T-virus outbreak. And Chris finds
Right now, let's play something. Requiem.
the gang splits up and
Bank.
discovers the horrible fates of fallen
We
Stars
got it.
members due to the T-virus outbreak. And Chris finds
Damn, it is working. Holy shit, it's gonna loop itself. Damn, it is working. Holy shit, it's gonna loop itself. Requiem.
the gang splits up and
Bank.
discovers the horrible
But we need to make it a little bit louder.
due to the T-virus outbreak. And Chris finds
Like this. Maybe. Oh, give it full.
Let's do like
Bravo
this.
team member Rebecca Chambers still alive.
You.
Chris Redfield, Alpha Team. We're here to rescue you.
Jill and Chris eventually discover that the Umbrella Corporation, a pharmaceutical company
Damn.
with shady business
It is
practices,
working.
was behind illegal experiments that resulted in the horrors roaming
Holy shit, it's gonna loop
the
itself.
mansions.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hey, hey, hey. Very nice, very good, very nice.
We're here to rescue you.
Jill and Chris have resulted in the horrors roaming
Holy shit, it's gonna loop
the
itself.
mansions.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hey, hey, hey. Very nice, very good, very nice.
Actually, once they reach the sinister laboratory, our survivors discover
One,
that
two,
Wesker, their
1, 2,
team
3,
leader, is
1, 2,
actually
3.
a traitor and works for
Now
Umbrella
let's
in
check
some
it,
capacity.
how it
Wesker
sounds.
infects himself. Actually, once they reach the sinister laboratory, our survivors discover that
1, 2,
Wesker, their
1, 2,
team
3,
leader, is
1, 2,
actually a
3.
traitor and works for
Now
Umbrella
let's
in
check
some
it,
capacity.
how it
Wesker
sounds.
infects himself. Once they reach the sinister laboratory, our survivors discover
1,
that
2,
Wesker, their
1, 2,
team
3,
leader, is
1, 2,
actually a
3.
traitor and works for
Now
Umbrella
let's
in
check
some
it,
capacity.
how it
Wesker
sounds.
infects himself.
Can we give a gain on this? How you think? Like that? And close? It's gonna work? It's supposed to, I guess.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 4.
Star's Alpha
Let's
team is
check.
dispatched to find out.
How you think? Like that? And close? It's gonna work? It's supposed to, I guess.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 4.
Star's Alpha
Let's
team is
check.
dispatched to find out.
How you think? Like that? It doesn't work. It's gonna work? It's supposed to, I guess.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 4.
Star's Alpha
Let's
team is
check.
dispatched to find out.
How you think? Like that? It doesn't work. It's gonna work? It's supposed to, I guess.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 4.
Star's Alpha
Let's
team is
check.
dispatched to find out.
Expander. Hmm. Audio capture. Volume booster. The most effective method is using application audio capture. Audio capture. Gain we have. Volume booster. The most effective method is using application audio capture. Close.
What happened to Bravo team? The search leads Stars members Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton, and team leader Albert
Volume
Wesker to
booster.
the
The most
Spencer
effective
mansion.
method
The gang
is
splits up and
using
discovers the
application audio capture. Close.
What happened to Bravo team? The search leads STARS members Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton and team leader Albert Wesker to the Spencer mansion. The gang splits up and discovers the
audio capture close.
What happened to Bravo team? The search leads STARS members Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton and team leader Albert Wesker to the Spencer mansion. The gang splits up and discovers the
audio capture.
What happened to Bravo team?
Kurwa.
The horrible fates of fallen STARS members due to the T-virus outbreak, and Chris finds Bravo team member Rebecca Chambers still alive.
You.
Chris Redfield, Alpha Team. We're here to rescue.
The search Rebecca Chambers the horrible fates of fallen STARS members due to the T-virus outbreak, and Chris finds Bravo team member Rebecca Chambers still alive.
You.
Chris Redfield, Alpha Team. We're here to rescue.
Bravo team. Rebecca Chambers the horrible fates of fallen STARS members due to the T-virus outbreak, and Chris finds Bravo team member Rebecca Chambers still alive.
You.
Okay.
Jill and Chris eventually discover that the
Yeah,
Umbrella
but now
Corporation,
still
a
can talk,
pharmaceutical
I
company
can
with
talk and
shady
I can
business
listen, I
practices,
can
was behind
join in.
illegal experiments that resulted in the
That's a good-
horrors roaming the mansion's
way.
hall.
Kurwa.
Once they reach the sinister laboratory, our survivors discover that
One, two,
Wesker, their
one, two,
team
three.
leader, is
One, two,
actually a
three.
traitor and works for
Now
Umbrella
let's
in
check
some
it.
capacity.
How it
Wesker
sounds.
infects himself. The laboratory and works for
Now
Umbrella.
let's
That resulted in the
That's a good-
horrors roaming the mansion's
way.
hall.
A little bit less.
Halls.
let's talk right now. Let's talk right now, motherfuckers.
Eventually, once they reach the sinister laboratory, our
Never
survivors
know how
discover
it's
that
gonna be.
Wesker, their team leader, is actually a traitor and works for Umbrella in
Let's talk right now, motherfuckers.
Eventually, once they reach the sinister laboratory, our survivors
know how
discover
it's
that
gonna be.
Wesker, their team leader, is actually a traitor and works for Umbrella in some capacity. Wesker
guess
infects himself with a
right
strain
now
of the T-virus for some
is one
elaborate
of the
plan
lastest
that involves releasing a new super
attempts.
weapon, the Tyrant, that swiftly kills him.
And I can watch it. Congratulations. I'm so smart.
In some capacity. Wesker
guess
infects himself with a
right
strain
now
of the T-virus for some
is one
elaborate
of the
plan
lastest
that involves releasing a new super
attempts.
weapon, the Tyrant, that swiftly kills him.
And I can watch it. Congratulations. I'm so smart.
In some capacity. Wesker
guess
infects himself with a
right
strain
now
of the T-virus for some
is one of
elaborate
the
plan
lastest
that involves releasing a new super
attempts.
weapon. After managing to defeat the monster,
Bang, bang, bang.
the remaining STARS team escaped the facility.
Watching.
Our survivors return to Raccoon City and begin to learn that
And
the
that's how I
corruption
can watch.
runs deep. They
Now
decide to go
everything is
rogue and
perfect.
investigate a grand
Or I can do like this. I can lower the gain. Kurwa, I'm so smart. I cannot lower the gain because I need to have it like this. Kurwa, and now everything is fucked again. Ja pierdolę.
corporate conspiracy. Chris heads off to Europe solo, and Jill
1, 2,
stays in
3,
the
4.
city to learn
1,
more
2, 3,
about
4.
Umbrella.
Test of the microphone.
3.
In September 19...
Now, the gain because it like dog.
Conspiracy. Chris heads off to Europe solo, and Jill
1, 2,
stays in
3,
the
4.
city to learn
1,
more
2, 3,
about
4.
Umbrella.
Test of the microphone.
3.
In September 19...
Now, the gain because it like dog.
Conspiracy. Chris heads off to Europe solo, and Jill
1, 2,
stays in
3,
the
4.
city to learn
1,
more
2, 3,
about
4.
Umbrella.
Test of
1998, Raccoon City became overrun with zombies. Umbrella wondering what...
Nice.
The 9th entry in the mainline Resident Evil series is fast approaching.
Okay, the Resident Evil recap the complete timeline. I'm interested. I'm waiting right now on the Resident Evil Requiem. Still, I have some like 6 hours. So let's pump ourselves. Let's watch.
Survivors
this, guys.
return to Raccoon City and begin to learn that the corruption runs deep. They decide to go rogue and investigate a grand corporate conspiracy. Chris heads off to Europe solo, and Jill...
Nice.
The 9th entry in the mainline Resident Evil series is fast approaching. But if you're looking to jump in for the first time, you might be left wondering what the hell is going on.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Bingo.
Here is a very condensed synopsis of the main Resident Evil story and everything you need to know leading into Resident Evil Requiem. Warning, the following contains spoilers.
Resident Evil 0.
July 23rd, 1998. Raccoon
Never
City
played it.
Police STARS Bravo team is dispatched to investigate murders in the Arclay Mountains, but crashes before they can reach. Survivor Rebecca Chambers makes her way towards a spooky-looking mansion nearby to find the rest of Bravo team. Before she can arrive, Rebecca, along with her newly acquired convict companion Billy Cohen, arrive at an abandoned training facility, discovering that its former director, Dr. James Marcus, along with former partner Oswald E. Spencer, was responsible for a new biological weapon dubbed the T-Virus, a deadly infection
Umbrella.
that turns humans into zombies and other monstrosities.
Resident Evil.
STARS Alpha Team is dispatched to find out what happened to Bravo Team. The search leads STARS members Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton, and team leader Albert Wesker to the Spencer Mansion. The gang splits up and discovers the horrible fates of fallen STARS members due to the T-Virus outbreak, and Chris finds Bravo team member Rebecca Chambers still alive.
You.
Chris Redfield, Alpha Team. We're here to rescue you.
Jill and Chris eventually discover
Chris Redfield, of course, one of the classics. Also Resident Evil 5. Also, I think if I remember well, on the PSP he had a part, and sadly Resident Evil 6. I think 6 was one of the shittiest parts of Resident Evil, and yeah, they fucked it up. They fucked it up. They make few campaigns, and how I remember, only Leon was acceptable. Acceptable. It wasn't even good. It was acceptable.
That the Umbrella Corporation, a pharmaceutical company with shady business practices, was behind illegal experiments that resulted in the horrors roaming the mansion's halls. Eventually, once they reach the sinister laboratory, our survivors discover that Wesker, their team leader, is actually a traitor and works for Umbrella in some capacity. Wesker infects himself with a strain of the T-virus for some elaborate plan that involves releasing a new superweapon, the Tyrant, that swiftly kills him. After managing to defeat the monster, the remaining STARS team escape the facility. Our survivors return to Raccoon City and begin to learn that the corruption runs deep. They decide to go rogue and investigate a grand corporate conspiracy. Chris heads off to Europe solo, and Jill stays in the city to learn more about Umbrella.
Resident Evil 3.
In September 1998, Raccoon City became overrun with zombies. Umbrella sees this outbreak as an opportunity to test its
Resident Evil 3, I think that's the part what many people is considering also like the bad one. I don't think so. I think it the first attempt to go into Raccoon City, it was Resident Evil 3. It wasn't bad though.
latest bioweapon, sending down the experimental nemesis, a hulking beast with a rocket launcher that's
Maybe it was a little bit more action than horror, like from first parts, but it still had this this vibe. You need to play it. If you didn't, I was playing it in the version for PlayStation 1, if I remember well, or PlayStation 2.
tasked only with the death of all STARS members.
Rocket launcher? Really?
While Jill desperately tries to escape the outbreak with Nemesis hot on her heels, rookie RPD officer Leon S. Kennedy and Chris Redfield's younger sister Claire Redfield both arrive in Raccoon City at the worst possible time.
Resident Evil 2.
After being separated following
I think that's the best part. If we will not count the number 4, I think the Resident Evil 2 really he put the level high.
a car accident, Leon and Claire agree to meet up at the nearby police department. Unfortunately, the building is also infested with zombies.
Oh god. Oh god.
On her quest to find her brother Chris, Claire runs into Sherry Birkin, a young girl being pursued by a monstrous weirdo who turns out to not only be her dad, but also Umbrella's leading scientist William Birkin.
You gotta be kidding me.
Turns out Billy B had planned to betray Umbrella and sell his newly developed G-Virus, but before he had the chance, he was gunned down by Umbrella.
Bang bang.
Before dying, William managed to infect himself with the G-Virus, allowing it to spread into Raccoon City through the water system, creating the enormous mess all our characters are now dealing with. Nice one, Willie. Meanwhile, Leon runs into Ada Wong, an FBI agent who's seeking the G-Virus for herself to prove Umbrella's corruption. They decide to form an alliance, for now.
Thank you.
Leon and Ada run into Birkin's wife Annette, who is not a big fan of the pair.
Fucking dogs. In this game, dogs was always so annoying. Oh my gosh. I remember first time I was shitting under myself. I was kids, you need to know them.
You'll never get the G-Virus!
Leon and Ada follow her to a secret Umbrella underground facility called Nest in pursuit of the G-Virus sample.
I wonder where the G-Virus is.
Claire also arrives at Nest in search of a vaccine for a now infected Sherry. Leon manages to obtain the G-Virus sample but runs into William, who, in his freakish form, mortally wounds his wife. Annette reveals to Leon that Ada is not what she seems, and is actually a mercenary who's looking to sell the G-Virus to the highest bidder.
She's gonna sell it.
Ada demands the G-Virus, but before
Also, you have a animated movie, and this part is really good made it. Generally, those animated movies of Resident Evil are not bad. You can see it if you like the movies. Movies are like a little bit in the different category. but the animated movies are with characters of the games, so they split the universes in this way.
Leon can hand it over. Annette manages to shoot Ada, who then falls to her death, dropping the G-Virus sample in the process. Claire finds a vaccine and gives it to Annette to cure her daughter, while she tangles with an out-of-control William. Sherry is cured, but Annette eventually dies of her injuries. The facility is set to self-destruct, and Claire, Sherry, and Leon board a train to escape.
Shit! Gotta get out of here.
With Nest destroyed, the crew finally manages to escape the nightmare, and on the outskirts of Raccoon City, vow to continue their fight against Umbrella.
So, is it over?
It will never be over. We're gonna fight until the end with Umbrella.
I don't know. But if it's not, we'll stop it. Whatever it takes.
Yeah, you damn right we will.
While Jill, Leon, and Claire are dealing with their own issues amidst a zombie outbreak, 8 other Raccoon City residents are also in a desperate fight for survival. Most notably, local journalist Alyssa Ashcroft, an investigative reporter trying to spotlight Umbrella's evil ways. Alyssa manages to escape Raccoon City before its government-issued annihilation, carrying information that could expose Umbrella once and for all.
Resident Evil 3.
Elsewhere in Raccoon City, Jill Valentine is infected with the T-Virus. Fortunately, Carlos Oliveira, a merc who, despite being hired by Umbrella, is on the scene to not only cure Jill, but also help her find an important vaccine.
By the way, I think Resident Evil remakes one of the best remakes on the world ever produced. I never saw this scale. I think that only one thing what could make it even better, give the option to play with the camera from up, like in the old days. That would be amazing. Amazing.
This shit better work.
At this point, our heroes discover the unfortunate news that the US government...
Of course, I will not say that our Blue Sony studio didn't make a good job with the Dark Souls, because also that was piece of art. Dark Souls or Demon Souls, I don't remember correctly. I need to play it anyway. I have one kind of the challenge and idea to do it with you guys, so we're gonna see. But yeah, I saw that they really make a good job also with this game.
plans to wipe out Raccoon City with a missile strike, hoping to eradicate the infection. Carlos and Jill...
Most of the remakes or remasters are just like on left hand made it, you know what I mean? This, when I first time saw Resident Evil remake, I remember the emotions over the night. That was crazy how it looks, the change of the gameplay style, but how I said, the change of camera, the option would be great.
We'll head to another underground lab, this time creatively called
Nothing will
Nest
give this
2.
vibe.
Unfortunately, Nemesis is still alive and very much in pursuit. Jill and Carlos manage to take out the abomination once and for all, and with the vaccine sample in hand, escape the city before the missile strike. Unfortunately, Nikolai, Carlos's former colleague / secret operative, is waiting and manages to destroy the vaccine vial. Jill and Carlos take down Nikolai, leaving him for dead, and escape just before the missile arrives to completely floor Raccoon City for good.
Resident Evil.
3 months after escaping from Raccoon City, Claire Redfield, in search of her brother Chris,
Code Veronica is not this part where you had pistolet. It was possible to play or Wii, or that was on the ship.
attempts to raid a European Umbrella facility before being captured. Claire is taken to an island prison commanded by Alfred Ashford, the governor of Rockfort Island. An outbreak occurs, of course, and after being freed, Claire gets to work looking for Chris and escaping the island. There's no sign of Chris, so after much trouble, Claire escapes on a plane. Ashford, who it turns out has a split personality disorder and often believes himself to be his twin sister Alexia, takes control of the plane remotely and crashes it into another Umbrella facility, this time in Antarctica. It's also worth noting that during the crash, Claire spends a period unconscious here, during which she has a dream that turns out to be the plot of Resident Evil Survivor 2. Weird. Alfred, believing Claire to be a spy, also escapes Rockfort in a quest for revenge, and after he's fatally wounded, frees his actual sister Alexia, the person he previously believed or wished himself to be, who was cryogenically frozen and riddled with a new virus called T. Veronica. Meanwhile, back on Rockfort Island, wouldn't you know it, Chris has shown up looking for Claire. Instead, he runs into his old pal slash mortal enemy, Albert Wesker.
Long time no see, Chris.
Wesker? Who's still alive, super strong, and on a mission to find the T. Veronica sample. Turns out his plan was to be killed by the Tyrant so he could reach his full potential of some experimental virus he had or something like that. They both make their way to Antarctica, and Chris finally reunites with Claire, who then defeats a now very powerful Alexia before escaping as the facility, you guessed it, self-destructs.
Chris!
Hey, you know that I always keep my promises.
Oh, and Chris and Claire vow to take down Umbrella. You seeing a pattern here?
There's still something we've got to do.
You mean...
Yeah, it's payback time. We've got to destroy Umbrella. Now, let's finish this once and for all.
That's a moment like some from Pokemon when the hero is saying something awesome, epic. That's always was funny part for me. Let's do it right now. We are the heroes. We can do it.
Resident Evil 4.
For me, that was one of the main parts when I really sink into Resident Evil. I remember first time I saw it when I was maybe, I don't know, 11 years, 12 years old. And yeah, one day I was just sick. I wasn't in school. And around this age, I just played it out. No, sorry, 12 years old. I already was 6th grade. So I was like 8 maybe. So 8, yeah, when I was 9, I was 9 years old. I made walkthrough in one day.
6 years have now passed, and Umbrella is now long gone due to a government suspension and a stock value crash. Basically, the lamest way possible for a big bad to go out. Leon Kennedy, the once rookie RPD officer, is now a government agent who's sent on a mission to rescue the president's daughter Ashley from her kidnappers in rural Spain. Leon discovers that not only are her kidnappers a cult called Los Illum.
I didn't saw the remake of the Resident Evil 4. I was thinking to play it on the VR. I have Oculus, and it's possible for me to play it, but I don't think my laptop will be able to handle the specs for the VR to play it nice. So yeah, first we need to make investment, guys.
Minados, but they're also infected by a brand new mind-controlling parasite called Las Plagas. During the rescue, Leon coincidentally bumps into an old flame, Ada Wong.
You can stop right there, Leon. Wouldn't make me use this, would you?
Who turns out to not be dead and is once again on the hunt for a virus. After rescuing Ashley, Leon confronts the cult's leader, Sadler, and with the help of Ada, they defeat him. Bringing down the parasite and all the hordes he infected.
I'll give you a holy body.
Ada, once again showing her true colours, takes the Las Plagas sample and escapes by helicopter. But not before, setting the base to self-destruct.
I don't understand. Why would she just...
Gotta move. Island's gonna blow.
It's gonna what?
Yeah.
Leon and Ashley managed.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this last action when he was going with the scooter. It was fun. I remember on those times it was like, wow, let's run. Right now it's just like another action part.
To escape very dramatically on a jet ski and appear to ride it all the way back from Spain to the US. I mean, they probably just went back to the mainland and took a more traditional route, but imagining they jet skied across the Atlantic is funnier. So let's say they did that.
Resident Evil Revelations.
Shortly after the events of Resident Evil 4, we're finally reunited with our original protagonists, Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine, who are now involved in a new investigation into bioorganic weapons, which results in them discovering a new strain of the T.
What? What was this part? Wait a second, guys, because I can't see. Hello, Mary. Hello. Thank you for the follow. It's going well. I'm waiting on a Resident Evil 9. I still need to wait 4.5 hours. How you doing? Everything good? I hope so.
Virus called T-Abyss, a weapon that the latest new evil organization Veltro plans to use, infecting 1/5 of the world's oceans. Ultimately, there's a lot of betrayal and evil plots here, with names and organizations that mostly don't feature in the wider series, except for one, the BSAA, short for the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance. Chris and Jill are founding members, and this new organization's motives become the driving force for these characters going forward. Naturally, Chris and Jill survive the events of Revelations, taking us directly into the next chapter of Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, that's nice. That's he made this timeline. Because before I wasn't that sure about that first part was a first, and right now we have everything on the table. I love it.
2 years after Resident Evil 4, our
Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, God, that you created.
original bad Wesker is still on the loose. Chris and Jill, now under the banner of the BSAA, follow a lead towards Umbrella's founder Oswald E. Spencer, but instead run into Albert Wesker, who has killed Spencer. Wesker, seemingly even more powerful than before and now dodging bullets for fun, is more than a match for Chris and Jill. To save Chris's life, Jill
Yeah, we was laughing at him with people that this is the Neo. Neo, come to Resident Evil to fulfill the gap.
sacrifices herself, sending both her and Wesker to their deaths. Chris, understandably, is a bit sad.
Resident Evil 5.
Almost 3 years
With Resident 5, they really had a problems. Maybe not like real ones, but the marketing for this game was critical for them because they was accusing them of racism, because most of the people what you kill in this game are of course black colored people, because this game is in Africa, and for a healthy person with healthy brain, he can add 1 to 1 and they can understand that that's how it's supposed to be. But some of the people just trying to make a bad PR. But I think for Resident Evil anyway, it was on the plus. If you're gonna see on the full timeline until now.
after Jill's death, Chris is tasked with apprehending terrorist Ricardo Irving, who is selling bioorganic weapons in Africa.
Wow, perceptive, aren't ya?
Along with his new partner Sheva, Chris discovers that the locals are infected by a modified Las Plagas parasite. Chris is also informed by the BSAA that Jill could still be alive. After defeating a mutated Irving, Chris and Sheva learn that Tricell, the company that funds the BSAA, had taken over Umbrella's CD work in conjunction with a, would you believe it, still alive Wesker, who's been conducting human experiments.
Wesker, you are alive.
Unfortunately, one of his victims is Jill, who is also still alive and now under Wesker's control. Chris and Sheva manage to subdue Jill and remove the mind control device before it's too late. Wesker tries to flee on a bomber, which crash lands into, of all places, a volcano.
To be precise, that's how I remember the number 5. I didn't have the console then because I think that was on the PlayStation 3 or 4. I had no cash. I was still too young, and I was walking with my colleague to the game club because they had Resident Evil 5 and we was playing. I remember I think we almost made it full in the game club, but before the finish they resetted all of the memories in the whole game club, and it was fucked, but it was fun. I remember that it's as an action game. Yeah, I really liked it. I don't understand hate, but for the people who prefer more horror or horror survivor, I can believe that for them it can be like on two thieves, you know.
After some brief boulder punching, Chris and Sheva finally kill Wesker once and for all. And all is well in the world, for now.
Locked and loaded.
Suck on this, Wesker.
Well, time's up, you son of a bitch.
That's how I remember it. As an action. Correct. Of course I can see when I'm gonna minimize you. Because I have no two monitors, you know. I have a TV. I was thinking to plug it into TV and make a second monitor, a second desktop from it. But at this moment, I have here also a capture card and everything, so it would be a little bit hard for me to do it. Yeah, yeah. Minecraft? I have a Minecraft on the phone, but I think I also can play it on the PC, because I have it on the Play Store. I started streaming 3 days ago. 3 days ago was my first stream, and until then, oh, nice kitty. Until then, from then, I had many struggles with audio and visuals.
Revelation.
It's pissing me off, but I'm going in it.
Claire
It makes
Redfield,
me happy.
younger sister of Chris and now a member of TerraSave, an anti-bio-terror company, once again finds herself trapped on an island with her new partner, Moira Burton, daughter of Barry Burton. Remember him? He's the Jill sandwich guy.
You would have fit nicely into a sandwich.
This island, an abandoned prison, isn't a nice place to be. While being stalked by mysterious monsters, are directed around this labyrinth by someone known as the Overseer.
Who the f is quoting poetry?
Are you afraid?
After all the typical Resident Evil hijinks involving other survivors, shady corporations and betrayal, it's revealed that the Overseer is called Alex Wesker. Although she does share a surname though, she's not actually a relative of the infamous villain. Stay tuned for that later. But rather a kidnapped child who was snatched for her talents and inducted into the Wesker Project. A sinister plot developed by Oswald E. Spencer to try and develop a race of superior beings using the T-Phobos virus. Another virus, blimey.
I have to destroy you!
Alex has been doing her own experiments on the prison island.
Yeah, they made many kind of viruses, but every single one of them is based on the T. So that's how it looked like.
Injecting a virus into her victims and creating a fresh batch of monstrosities. Eventually, Claire and Moira corner Alex, and now, with nowhere left to run, Alex commits suicide. But not before, say it with me, setting the base to self-destruct.
Self-destruct sequence of the facility's upper spire will begin immediately.
Claire manages to escape, but unfortunately, Moira is trapped under rubble. Enter Big Daddy Barry.
Moira.
6 months pass before Barry reaches the island, desperately chasing Moira's SOS signal. But before finding his daughter, he runs into a still alive but mutated Alex Wesker.
It's not enough to live. I want to transcend.
After more survival horror hijinks, Barry eventually comes face to face with Alex, who's now heavily mutated into a final glowing orange target-covered form. Fortunately, both a still alive Moira and a returning Claire Redfield with a rocket launcher arrive to swing the odds in Barry's favour.
Kaboom!
In the epilogue, Claire receives a message.
Okay, nice animation, but what's happened in here with the light? Like from the side of the blow is everything darker than from behind. Like what happened in here? What is the light on the face? Look, you have light from the moon, but you don't have light from the explosion. Oh, crazy shit.
In the epilogue, Claire receives.
To be true, many games these days have shitty lighting, but most of the people don't see it because they doesn't care.
A message about her brother Chris Redfield and his jaunt to China to handle another bioterror threat.
Yeah, well, tell Piers to look after him.
Right, next up is Resident Evil 6, which features not one, but 3 interwoven campaigns, and it all gets very messy. Deep breath. Let's just get through this.
Resident Evil 6.
In 2012, a new
correct.
virus surfaced from a company dubbed Neo Umbrella, led by someone who appears to be Ada Wong. Series new
Resident Evil 6, one of the baddest parts, how I remember. That was the action one, but the thing is, in this game you had few options for make a few paths. So you could play with Leon, you could play with Chris, you could play with somebody else, and with every single one you had different storyline. Only Leon had acceptable storyline, and change my mind if not. Acceptable, not good, but acceptable. And other, like Chris, I don't know what the fuck that was, but yeah, the 6, Resident Evil 6, it was one of the worst parts what they ever produced. Changed my mind.
newcomer Jake Muller is believed to be the key to the vaccine due to his antibodies. The reason Jake is immune is, well, because unlike Alex Wesker, he's actually Wesker's child.
So, you're Wesker Jr.
Wesker? You lost me.
In 2013, the American president decides that enough is enough with all these bioterror incidents, and it's time to spill the beans about what really happened in Raccoon City. However, before he can, there's another infection attack, and the president, now a zombie, has to be taken down by his loyal agent and series favourite, Leon Kennedy. Ada Wong then arrives and tells Leon that National Security Advisor Derek Simmons is affiliated with Neo Umbrella, and behind the terror attack that zombified the Prez. Leon heads to China in pursuit of Simmons. Chris Redfield, now racked with post-traumatic stress and a thirst for revenge after his team was slaughtered by Ada, also heads to China, as does Jake, because, you know, plot.
Hell yeah!
Right, there's a lot going on here, so let's do this bit really quickly. Chris finds out Jake's true identity, and despite an awkward moment when Chris tells Jake he's killed his dad, they mostly work it out. Simmons dies, Chris's mate Piers is wounded, and then grows a new arm with the C virus and saves Chris. Jake kills his boss, who's not worth talking about, and we also find out that there are 2 Adas, one being an imposter called Carla, and that explains all the outfit changes, and finally all the good guys win and go their separate ways. Basically, a lot is going on, and it's not very good, so maybe just ignore this bit.
President would have done the same.
Resident Evil 7.
In 2017,
Biohazard
Ethan
no
Winters
good.
is searching for his missing wife,
I
Mia,
think it was-
eventually
it
following the
wasn't
trail
nice.
deep into Louisiana, where he
They changed a lot because they saw that 6 was not appreciated by fans. They made horror from first person, and I think that was a good idea. Right now they're mixing it, and I think that's one of the best choices what they could make, because they're gonna fill the gap for the both of Resident Evil fans, for first player and for FPS and for the PS.
finds her imprisoned by a very odd and very disgusting family, the Bakers.
Welcome to the family, son.
Ethan is attacked and captured by Jack Baker, and then forced to join in with a vomit-inducing family dinner with his wife Marguerite, son Lucas, and an elderly woman. It turns out this family has been infected by something called mold, some sort of parasitic fungal virus that has the added benefit of resilience, but the downside of making you a bit gross. After escaping and managing to kill hideous forms of Jack and Marguerite, Ethan reunites with his wife and develops a serum to help shake off her apparent mold infection. After trying to flee on a boat, the vessel is capsized by a mysterious creature that turns out to be a girl named Evelyn, a bioweapon that Mia, who it turns out is a secret agent, was tasked with escorting. Turns out Evelyn was responsible for the Baker family's mind-altering infection, because she was desperate for her own family. You know, like all bioweapons are, classic stuff.
Listen, the girl just lost a family of her own.
Side note, you can also find a note from Alyssa Ashcroft in Resident Evil 7. Remember her from Resident Evil Outbreak? Turns out she's still a jobbing journo who's investigating the disappearances in Louisiana. After injecting Evelyn with a toxin, she reverts to her true form as the old woman at the baker's disgusting dinner. Turns out that she's been rapidly aging. Evelyn mutates into a giant blob like all classic Resident Evil bosses, and after a final confrontation with Ethan, with a little help from a recently arrived military squad, she's finally destroyed. In a final twist, the leader of the military squad is revealed to be none other than a very different looking Chris Redfield, emerging from a helicopter that's branded Umbrella.
Resident Evil 7.
After Ethan escapes, Chris and his team pursue Lucas Baker, who it turns out was never actually under Evelyn's mind control due to a serum provided to him by a new shadowy organisation called the Connections. The Connections were behind Evelyn's creation, and they were using Lucas to gather more data on her. But he also planned to betray his masters anyway, you know, like every Resident Evil villain ever.
Lucas!
After finally working his way through a series of traps, Chris manages to kill a mutated Lucas and finally returns to base for an urgent call.
Game over.
Resident Evil.
Over 3 years.
I didn't play it until today. I had no equipment back in the days. Right now I have equipment, but first I want to make a 9 because I have room for it. And yeah, I'm pretty hyped. And I would like to see it.
Later, Ethan and Mia's Eastern Europe-based family bliss is violently interrupted by the Hound Wolf squad, led by returning and turtlenecked Chris Redfield, who now oddly looks like he did before Resident Evil 7 again. Weird. Chris and his goons shockingly and mercilessly gun down Mia and then kidnap Ethan and his child, Rosemary.
No! What?
Bang, bang, bang.
Why?
Ethan wakes to find himself stuck in a rural village and runs into terrified villagers who've been cowering from a horde of marauding Lycans. Ethan, on a desperate quest to find his missing daughter Rose, works his way through the abandoned village and into a nearby castle inhabited by vampires, most notably an enormous goth mummy called Lady Dimitrescu.
Damn, that looks good.
Most notably,
Look, god damn. It's not bad. The light is nice, everything is beautiful. Like this, it looks like a little bit modified body camera. It's really nice, I love it. The way how they play with the light in here. You see everything. That's how it's supposed to be in games.
An enormous...
I think that's a cut scene, yeah? So on this level we're supposed to have normal gameplay.
This goth mummy called Lady Dimitrescu.
Oh, be careful what you wish for, Ethan Winters.
Lady D, along with a group of oddities, belong to a worshipping cult for Mother Miranda, a godlike, mold-infected leader, who, in a quest to bring her daughter back to life, ended up becoming consumed by the infection and spreading it to her 4 elevated lords and houses. In his journeys, Ethan discovers a crest for these 4 lords that looks eerily similar to Umbrella's logo.
Yeah, Umbrella Corporation is everywhere. Of course I'm here. Why you ask? Always. Four or 5 years on the commissions. Man, you have a lot of experience. Very well. I'm proud of you. You made a lot. That's how it's supposed to be. Work on yourself,
Hey,
my friend.
remember them? Ethan's journey to rescue Rose and take down Miranda's lords eventually leads him to...
Shit. My Google Chrome just have Exa. Okay. Okay, everything's working again.
Chris explains that the Mia he gunned down wasn't actually Mia at all, but rather a shape-shifting Mother Miranda, who considered Ethan and Mia's daughter Rose to be the Evelyn successor based on the fact that both her parents were infected by the mold.
She changed her appearance and pretended to be Mia. Seems she also survived being shot, so now I'm here to finish the job.
Rose was born with unique properties, and after Miranda finally confronted Ethan in her true form, she explained that the mold would help rebirth Rose as her daughter Eva. Miranda then, without hesitation, rips out Ethan's heart.
Miranda, you coward! Come out and face me!
Don't worry. Your death will come quick. You will join the Megamycetes records.
Chris and the Hound Wolf squad launch a full assault against Mother Miranda, battling through her waves of monsters and destroying a large mold barrier that's now protecting her. Once inside, Chris and the team discover a large mold root that's called the Megamycete. That turns out to be the source of the mold that's plagued the village, but also the Baker family in Resident Evil 7. Turns out, the Megamycete not only infects its victims, but it also absorbs their DNA and memories. Chris plants a detonation device, but before destroying the mold once and for all, decides to pass through Miranda's lab for one last lore dump. He discovers the entirety of Miranda's plan and her quest to find a suitable vessel for her daughter Ava's consciousness to be reborn into. Miranda was also responsible for the creation of Evelyn, working with the connections. Later in the lab, Chris discovers the biggest shock of all, when it's revealed that Oswald E. Spencer, founder of Umbrella, was actually a student of Miranda and began work on the progenitor virus based on her teachings. To honour this, the Umbrella logo took inspiration from Miranda's Four Lords symbol that Ethan discovered earlier. Not only was Miranda responsible for everything in Resident Evil 7 and Village, but she was also the inspiration that started it all. After Chris finally works his way through the exposition hallway, he discovers the true and very much alive Mia, who reveals that Ethan also isn't quite dead yet. It's revealed that Miranda didn't kill Ethan, Jack Baker did, way back in the start of Resident Evil 7. Ethan was infected by mold, which had been keeping him moving this entire time, and explained how a man could regularly reattach body parts with just a bit of healing juice. Despite this, Ethan is falling apart, but can muster enough for one last stand with Mother Miranda, whereupon defeating the big bad once and for all, he manages to pass his daughter to Chris and take ownership of a detonation device that would destroy the village, the mold, and himself once and for all. Ethan triggers the explosion as Chris, Mia, and Rose escape. In 2037, a now much older Rose is learning about her abilities, one of which is the power to connect with a surviving piece of the mold root recovered from the incident 16 years prior. After jacking in, Rose enters a new realm, full of the memories from the victims the Megamycete had consumed. Rose then takes a jaunt through a version of the village, guided by a spirit called Michael, who ends up being Ethan's remaining consciousness. She's also taunted by the trapped consciousness of Mother Miranda, who is desperate to escape the realm. With the help of Ethan and her newfound abilities, Rose manages to defeat Mother Miranda and share one last moment with her father before she returns to the real world.
I love you, Rose. I love you too, Dad.
In the aftermath, Rose visits Ethan's grave while shadowed by a mysterious agent who calls her Evelyn. And after threatening him, Rose reveals that she has abilities that even Chris doesn't know about.
Oh, it's just a joke, Rose.
I can show you things even Chris doesn't know I can do.
We have a clear shot. Stand down.
And that's it, the entire plot of Resident Evil that matters before you dive into Resident Evil Requiem. Yes, we skipped over some bits here or there, but there's a lot to cover in the wacky world of Resident Evil. Now, excuse me while I set my base to self-destruct and vow to get my revenge. And if you like that video, why not check out our final hands-on preview of Resident Evil Requiem. And for everything else Resi, stick with IGN.
Super, IGN channel. That was a great Resident Evil recap, the complete timeline. I love it. I love it. That's the videos what we need. Okay. So now we need to break a little bit for a second. Resident Evil recap. I don't have Discord. I hear a dog, or I'm crazy.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute break. Shit. Life's hard. Can't find the lighter. Such a messy. Fuck. back. The champion here. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I don't have still Instagram and I don't have still an X at this moment. I have only streaming. I love it. You can always follow, you can always share. Oh, you give the follow. God damn. Very well, thank you. The event worked. The follow. Damn, I can't see shit. You probably also didn't saw it. Let's check it. Okay, maybe like this. And now alert. And now another alert. And how it would be right now? Tell me, do you see it? Beautiful. Beautiful. Especially for you. I'm even gonna go give you a subscriber. Why not? Why not? We got it. Okay, guys. Resident Evil Requiem, before you buy, I already bought it. And let's see what I supposed to know before and what I don't know now.
And we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. It's me, Jake Baldino, GameRanks' Resident Evil fan, and this is a big one. This is a big game. It's an attempted merger of Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village style gameplay with Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 third-person remakes. New fans, new characters, old characters. It's an ambitious thing for a franchise to really juggle. So how did they do? Long story short, pretty damn good. It's like a Resident Evil Greatest Hits album. It gives you everything you want, even if you're already extremely familiar with some of the songs. Like, I've got my issues here and there, but Resident Evil Requiem is a hell of a ride for new and old fans. And just so you know, I've been playing a review copy, and this footage is captured running on ps5 Pro. So
the shotgun was so juicy. I love it.
Oh, I can't yet speak to PC or Switch performance or anything like that, but all this footage is as spoiler-free as possible. In fact, I'm probably going to show you less than some other reviews, footage-wise, because I think it's fun to be surprised. There's a lot of the game that the game's marketing and previews did not show, and I don't think it's deceptive, like they're trying to trick you into buying the game or anything. It's just to hide some genuinely good surprises, and I'm going to stick with that because I was pleasantly surprised playing, and you should definitely try and go in blind. But audio-wise, I am still going to tell you what to expect. Like, you need to be informed. You need to know what this game is. So if you are out of the loop, Requiem tells the story of Grace Ashcroft, a new character, an FBI agent, who gets swept up in some spooky chaos at the same time as Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 2 is on the job. So what you get is like a hybrid game. You're playing a linear adventure, bouncing back and forth between two characters throughout the course of the game. You can actually swap between first and third person cameras in the settings for both Leon.
That's what we was talking about before, that they grab for a faces both of the sides of the fan groups and they put it together right now. Everybody should be happy.
Leon and Grace, but for my first playthrough, I actually stuck with what
that's gonna be a half action horror game plus survival horror with the first person
creators intended and what was the default settings. Grace in first person and Leon in third person. This makes for a game that feels like the best parts of Resident Evil 7's dark, tense, slow survival horror in first person with Grace, and then with Leon, it basically just feels like you're playing a follow-up to Resident Evil 4 Remake. And the game does a great job balancing between the two. Like, neither character gets shortchanged, in my opinion. Plenty of gameplay for both, and I was satisfied. It can feel a little identity crisis later in the game when you're crawling around dark hallways as Grace and then switching to Leon doing the most insanely cool badass thing you've ever seen him do. But like, as much as I know
This chainsaw, beautiful, beautiful.
Changed.
Look how she dance.
My opinion. Plenty of gameplay for both, and I was satisfied.
At the beginning, it's on the floor, it's stable,
Character
and
gets
then
shortchanged, in my opinion. Plenty of gameplay
it
for
gripped
both,
the floor
and I was
started
satisfied.
spinning.
It can feel a little
Beautiful
identity
idea.
crisis later in the game when you're crawling around dark hallways as Grace and then switching to Leon doing the most insanely cool badass thing you've ever seen him do. But like, as much as I noticed it, I didn't really mind it.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
That's the magic of this franchise, in my opinion. But Grace's gameplay drops you into a few tight, well-designed, claustrophobic survival horror spaces with puzzles to figure out, weird keys and things to decipher, lots of enemies, and limited resources and inventory space. These feel like traditional survival horror moments in the best sense, and most of these sequences feel really good and very intricate. Like you get to know the insides of these spaces intimately as you comb through them. The new zombie designs have creative spins to them too, like occupying spaces and roaming around, kind of engaging in zombified tasks. It's just fun to learn the ins and outs as you creep through. Now, you can stealth, like you can crouch and stealth your way through places, but it's pretty limited. You could throw glass bottles to distract enemies, but these are extremely limited as a resource, like any other survival horror item. So, you know, be prepared to run and shoot and hide a lot. So while Grace, like, she's a terrified character, she's not as bumbly as you'd expect. Like, she can shoot. She can use knives as you would in the previous games, and she can also shove stunned enemies. She can be upgraded through these inventory expansion pouches, as well as syringes that will increase firepower and accuracy, or health. These can be unlocked through like collecting little items and using them somewhere. They can be found in the environment, or in the syringes case, they can later on be crafted with special rare ingredients. Now, speaking of crafting, the familiar system returns, but with this new added element. You're collecting blood from fallen enemies and using it to craft extra stuff. This new resource is managed with an upgradable blood collector, and it works well enough. It's nice to use. It just means that you have to carry another thing around with you. Leon's inventory and crafting is Resident Evil 4 Remake style, and playing as him feels like stepping right back in. Only now his roundhouse kicks are contextual depending on your positioning, so he can kick enemies against walls and stuff to stun them. Along with that, he has an axe now instead of a knife, and this just makes him pretty OP. You can swing it as a melee weapon, as you would a knife, but this thing also delivers finishing blows to stunned enemies that are just, like, awesome. It can also parry, like the knife in Resident Evil 4 Remake, and it works really well overall. You can abuse this.
Hey, this little hatchet is fun. It's fun because normally we was using the knives, but the idea with the hatchet, I think it's better because it's easier to explain why it's going through the skull, what is actually can kill. I think that's a good idea. I'm really curious how it's gonna be combined with the movement
thing quite a bit. Just every so often.
Yeah, you saw it. Beautiful. Look at this hatchet. Actually, it have blood in the places where the hatchet was inside of the head. On the corner, look. Nice.
You need to sharpen it. You're kind of just reloading your knife. You have unlimited sharpenings, so the game...
So you also need to sharp your axe. Hatchet.
Just wants you to go nuts. And really, that's what Leon's sections are all about. This game is the Leon S. Kennedy show, man. The game isn't afraid to completely max out the Leon coolness, or as the kids would say, aura farm? Can I legally say that? Look, cutscenes have him like heroically posed, perfectly lit. His reload animations are badass. Like, all that stuff is here. It's like a Resident Evil 4 fan's wet dream.
That's why we love Leon. That's why we love it. He always was badass. He always was masculine. He always didn't give a fuck. Maybe on the beginning, in the first parts, when he was young, he was more feminine, but right now from the number 4 when he was playing with him, you could instantly know that he grown up. That right now, after all of the shit what he go through, it built him.
But thankfully with him, you also get extended sequences where you're just exploring, you're finding keys, you're doing the Resident Evil thing. You just happen to be kicking a lot of ass along the way. Leon has a pretty well fleshed out progression system.
I don't know how on your headphones and how it is with your sound, but sound of this firearm is perfect. Perfection. In every game supposed to work like this.
Too. While unfortunately he doesn't have a cool vendor salesman guy to talk to this time around, there is a currency and you can spend it to buy ammo, buy new weapons, and buy upgrades. All weapons...
Yeah, same like in the number 4.
Can be...
I'm curious it's gonna be a same seller.
Each weapon has its own screen, and then you can click on like the stock, the muzzle, the magazine, stuff like that to upgrade capacity.
Wait a second. Merchant.
Over here, stranger.
Over here, stranger. Damn. 240p. Meeting the merchant. This one is better.
Over here, stranger.
I always was curious, who the fuck is this guy?
Got something that might interest you.
Yeah, that's how it was. That was the good times. Good game, good game actually.
Recoil, power, all those stats. And you can upgrade them multiple times. Plus, you can unlock little keychains for them for added extra bonuses. This is a good system, a pretty good weapon system, and it warrants a second playthrough. But I do wish there were a few cooler weapons you could take advantage of. Nothing really completely blew me away. Except for Requiem, his big old pistol that's designed to blow away BOW specifically, but the ammo is extremely limited because it's crazy overpowered. Negative time though, one of the biggest issues with the game is that it feels like it reuses some elements from Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and Resident Evil 4 remakes. Not all the time, just here and there, and it was noticeable.
100% yes, accurate. Because the Resident Evil remake first part, they build it to check if the rest gonna sell it beautiful. And Resident Evil first part remake made it. Everybody loved it. So on same schema they built every single one further. And I don't think even that's something bad. That's how it's supposed to be. They supposed to take what's good from the parts before, what fans loved, and add something extra. That's how it's supposed to be.
Some people may not notice, but if you played those games a lot, you will. Especially in one instance, it kind of reuses part of a boss battle that I noticed immediately, and I was kind of disappointed. It wasn't enough to bring down the whole experience, but I do think some people will realize this. But like I said, it didn't bring down the whole experience because the highs are just so high here, man. The game has some truly incredible, crazy moments that just like had my jaw hit the floor. Just cool, fun fan service stuff. And I'll
look at this.
So high here, man. The game has some...
She's shooting his face.
I'm truly...
And his jaw. dropped out.
whole
Actually,
experience
she's
because the
shooting his
highs
jaw.
are just so high here.
Yes. Look. Shoot goes into the jaw.
Man, the game has
Bang.
some truly incredible,
Beautiful.
crazy moments that just like had
Oh my gosh.
jaw hit the floor. Just cool,
That
fun
looks great.
fan
That
service
looks great.
stuff.
I would
And
not
I'll
say
admit,
no.
some of it tiptoes dangerously close to nostalgia bait, like member berries type stuff. But it mostly all feels earned. And I'm just happy for Resident Evil to take a little bit of a victory lap here. And story-wise, not spoiling anything, I just wish it did more with Raccoon City. As a fan since Resident Evil 1, I thought they could have picked more.
Wait. So they've made
Or with Raccoon City.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Can you see it, guys? Can you see it? So it's possible that they've made face destruction. I remember when Battlefield made environmental destruction and everybody was like, wow, that's how games gonna look like in the future. Yeah, sure. That's how we was thinking. But right now we have it on the face in Resident Evil.
As a fan since Resident Evil 1, I thought they could have picked more story fruit from that story tree, but it didn't really expand out as much as I had hoped. But that's a matter of like personal preference. You know, the game takes a few big story swings that I personally really enjoyed, but I expect some healthy, hardcore lore fan debate. Now, I finished my first playthrough in 10.5 hours. To some, that sounds short, but it's in line with Resident Evil experiences, give or take. The game offers multiple difficulty modes, but that's it, unfortunately, and some of your stuff can carry over, but it's not as advanced as I'd hoped. Still, like Resident Evil 4 Remake and the other ones, it offers the main menu extras tab, where you can complete challenges and gain these little currencies where you can unlock stuff like additional weapons, outfits, and stuff to warrant some replayability. So between 2-ish playthroughs, I was satisfied, and I got about 18, 19 hours of enjoyment out of this.
Yeah, that's typical for Resident Evil. It's always was like that, and that's how it's supposed to stay. The additional feature give a lot for gameplay, because you always know that you have something to come back. And to give an example, in Resident Evil 4, when you was going through second time, the things what you're gonna get for the second time was depending on what kind of the score in the game you had when you was playing this first time. So on the second play, when I turned it on, I had RPG with unlimited ammunition. That for me, that was so hilarious. That was so hilarious.
Walking slow, cameras blink.
And like I said at the start, here we only got our hands on the PS5 Pro version, so still buyer beware on the PC side and stuff like that. But on PlayStation 5, the game looked great. And I didn't have any performance issues except for one very intensive kind of cinematic action sequence. That was a bit of a bummer, but the rest of the game was totally fine. It looked really damn good, especially if you got your HDR settings like really, really fine-tuned and on point. There are a few areas of the game that look kind of drab. That's not a graphical thing, it's more of like an environment and art direction thing, but I'd say 80% of the game is just like gorgeous, detailed, and downright stunning to look at. I had a couple of issues with flickering textures, like catching a surface at the wrong angle would look weird, but it's a nitpick. It happened very, very slightly. But that's really about it. We're keeping this one short because we're running out of non-spoiler footage, but ultimately it's pretty cut and dry. Resident Evil 9 Requiem is really damn good. It's a fun, entertaining ride. It might not be quite the end-all be-all Resident Evil game for some fans, but still, it's a celebration of everything cool in Resident Evil, and it's a really, really impressive showcase of how developers took the Resident Evil 7 and 8 style and mixed it with the Resident Evil classic kind of remake style. I can't believe they pulled it off. It's really cool to see. It's very impressive, but also most importantly, it's just fun. It's well paced, it's entertaining, it has some scary moments, it has some tense moments, and it has some liberating badass moments. I think fans should absolutely play through it. If you've only played the remakes, go for it. If you've only played 7 and 8, you might be confused with some of these characters, but I think you'll figure it out along the way. Either way, as someone who's been playing and been obsessed with Resident Evil since like 1997 or so, it's crazy we've come this far, and it's nice to have like a positive video game thing once in a while, am I right? But hey, that is a before you buy. You know how this goes by now, probably. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now I definitely want to hear yours. Again, try to avoid spoilers, but let me know what you think about Resident Evil 9 or just the franchise in general. Hopefully this informed you. Hopefully it filled you in. If you got any more questions for me, we'll be down in the comments as much as possible, but you can always find me on social media at Jake Baldino, and additional coverage of the game on my YouTube channel, just my name, at Jake Baldino. But clicking the like button helps us all out here. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next game, but we'll also see you in the next Resident Evil one day. But thanks for watching.
Great film, great movie, of course. I'm gonna give you like. Hell yeah, brother. Good job. Thank you very much. And also, I'm gonna add full gameplay from PlayStation 4. From full gameplay from PlayStation 5 Pro. Also on my channel. We're gonna do it on the stream. Actually, we're waiting right now. We're counting still. I need to wait 3 hours and 40 minutes when it's gonna be playable. So stay tuned.
Watching, and we'll see you. We're keeping this one short because we're running out of non-spoiler footage, but ultimately it's pretty cut and dry. Resident Evil 9 Requiem is really damn good. It's a fun, entertaining ride. It might not be quite the end-all, be-all Resident Evil game for some fans, but still, it's a celebration of everything cool in Resident Evil, and it's a really impressive showcase of how developers took the Resident Evil 7 and 8 style and mixed it with the Resident Evil classic kind of remake. Most importantly, some tense moments. Only played the but I think like 19 once in a while. Am I right? But you can just appreciate it one day. But thanks for watching.
Great film, great movie, of course. I'm gonna give you like. Hell yeah, brother. Good job. Thank you very much. And also, I'm gonna add full gameplay from PlayStation 4. From full gameplay from PlayStation 5 Pro. Also on my channel. We're gonna do it on the stream. Actually, we're waiting right now. We're counting still. I need to wait 3 hours and 40 minutes when it's gonna be playable. So stay tuned.
Watching, and we'll see you.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Beautiful.
Tired of losing battles because of lag in Call of Duty? With
Why Disney adults are going bankrupt for Disney? Is this
Walk around a Disney park today and you'd expect to see excited children dragging their parents from ride to ride. Instead, you'll see adult enthusiasts running everywhere, screaming, driving around on mobility scooters, documenting every inch of their experience on TikTok. These are Disney adults, and here they are in their 9,000 calories. Walk around a Disney park today.
Okay, why Disney adults are going bankrupt for Disney?
Walk around a Disney park today and you'd expect to see excited children dragging their parents from ride to ride. Instead, you'll see adult enthusiasts running everywhere, screaming, driving around on mobility scooters, documenting every inch of their experience on TikTok. These are Disney adults, and here they are in their—
Oh my gosh. Okay. I was thinking he just took a bunch of overweight people just to, make the example.
Excited children dragging their, screaming, driving around on mobility scooters, documenting every inch of their experience on TikTok. These are Disney adults, and here they are in their natural habitat, riding scooters around at just 20 years old because they can't walk, eating about 5 desserts in one day to the tune of 10,000 calories, crying at random stuff in the streets. Childless adults now outnumber families at the parks. Some visit hundreds of times a year. Some even quit their jobs and relocate to Orlando to go every single day. And it might just be funny on the surface, it might just seem like some stupid—
Every single day? What the hell? To work maybe, but to have fun? What?
Immature people. But it all begins to fall into place when you realize that Disney is an empire, one that spread its roots further and wider than any other company in history. It's consumed some of the most beloved franchises in modern culture: Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, The Simpsons, Indiana Jones, and swallowed up media giants like 20th Century Fox, ABC, ESPN, National Geographic, and Hulu, all absorbed into one giant corporate ecosystem. They also operate 12 theme parks worldwide, a fleet of cruise ships, and an entire planned residential community in Florida. Its combined properties attract over 150 million visitors a year, more than any other major attraction on the planet by an order of magnitude. Even if you don't realize it, you barely go a single day without encountering something Disney owns. The film—
Of course, but that's the situation with almost every, or maybe even every big company on the world, because they need to make desertification. Desertification. Yeah, I spell it well. Of the cash. So that's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do, even when you earn much less.
And programs we stream, the shows that kids everywhere watch in the morning, the merchandise in the shop window, the theme park advert on your feed. And like every empire, Disney has its castles and, most importantly for its survival, its subjects. Because the most valuable thing that Disney owns can't be found on their balance sheet. Instead, it's the loyalty of millions of adults who don't just enjoy Disney, but embrace it.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base44, a complete AI
with every fiber of their being, where Disney has truly become their religion. Now, the analogy of Disney adults as the subjects of the empire works so well because this is a fantasy universe manufactured—
Oh, sorry guys.
for subservience. And if you want to make anyone subservient to your brand, rich, generally middle-class adults without any religion are usually the holy grail. The overwhelming majority of Disney adults are just white, college-educated North Americans, many of whom spend up to $10,000 a year on just Disney alone. And a lot of the time, most are spending considerably more.
It's gonna be about 4,000 for 2 days.
10,000 a year is right now my point where I want to go to earn in this year, and they are spending this on a trip to Disneyland. God damn. Give me this cash. I'm gonna give you a travel of your life though.
About $35,000.
You can easily burn through $1,000 in a single day at the parks without even doing anything extravagant. A Disney cruise can set you back more than a fortnight in Southeast Asia, and yet for most, it's the only holiday they take. So think about what that really means. These are people with the money and freedom to go anywhere in the world, to explore different cultures, try new experiences, and see things that might genuinely challenge or change them. But instead, people just seem to come again and again to the same place, again and again. Not because they've weighed up their options, but because nothing else even occurs to them. Some will even go into huge debt to maintain their Disney addiction, even when their salaries don't stretch far enough to cover it.
Yeah, but that's normal thing these days. People are getting credit, they're getting loans just to go on the vacations, and that doesn't include only at Disneyland. That's happening everywhere. Maybe even everywhere on the world. But I know in Europe it's pretty common for a lower middle class or for lower class, because they also would like to have something from the life. You know, in USA, how I was able to read and get my informations from the statistics. Of course, we know that statistics are not always correct, but I can believe in these ones. So yeah, many people make loans to go on vacations, Bahamas, Disneyland, theme parks, everything.
So the passes were $2,000
For the both of us.
For
What?
both of us.
For fucking what? You spent $1,000 on just being at Disney on here. $1,000.
Yeah. $1,000 plus. Also, you can probably sleep over there. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't read that. But in the theme parks in Europe, I know for 100% that you have stylized hotels in the cartoon, or how to say this animated hotels. Shit, I have no words in English. I need to bring my vocabulary up. I need to have more English people in my stream. Guys, feel welcome. But yeah, let's check it like this. I have no keyboard. Fairy Tales hotels. Fairy Tales hotels. So I don't know. I'm not sure that in Disneyland, I can only suggest it. That's my imagination, that in the Disneyland they have Fairy Tales hotels with the style of the cartoons what they make. But I can believe it. So one night in this hotel probably is like half of the $1,000 also.
Just on the Disney crap.
I mean,
for a day. For one day.
Some don't just visit regularly, they restructure their entire lives around proximity to the parks. From there, you can visit every day if you want, and some people practically do.
How does visiting nearly 3,000 times sound? Well, that has been done by this man, Jeff Wrights. He started visiting the park every day in 2012.
Think about how the rulers of ancient empires made their money. They owned the land, controlled the culture, and dictated traditions and rituals, and the subjects paid for the privilege. Disney has achieved something remarkably similar in our world, and it's getting stronger every single year. Disney adults naturally date other Disney adults through dedicated dating sites, because who else would understand?
Didn't we find a Disney adult dating site?
We did. We did.
I mean, that shows you that you can find somebody in this world.
You can get married in front of the castle. You can get married in the haunted. Haunted Mansion, and instead of a traditional tiara, some Disney adults choose bespoke pieces to get married in, like these Mickey Mouses made in collaboration with some of the world's most premium brands, like Vera Wang. Honeymoons?
Great idea. Perfect. They have a niche, they have a client. 100% yes. If you have people who want it, why not?
Also Disney, or maybe a Disney cruise. And if you're now thinking this must be as far as it goes, then you haven't heard of Golden Oak. Golden Oak is essentially for the boss level Disney adult. It's the most extreme form of constructing your life around Disney. It is a community within Disney World itself, made up of eye-wateringly expensive mansions that start at around $10 million. Homes are built to Disney spec with statues and paintings of characters in the gardens and on the walls, floors, and ceilings. So now we have homes, holidays, and relationships all inside the Disney universe. So what's left? Identity itself. Disney doesn't actually allow adults to wear full costumes to the parks. That's reserved for children, so employees dressed as characters remain the only real versions. So Disney bounding means dressing to evoke a character without technically being in costume. Now the word means that these people are bound for Disney, headed that way to evade the costume police, but it portrays a deeper truth. These adults are both bound by Disney, a soft, comfortable cage that poses no challenges, and they are bound to Disney. They eschew individual identity and bolt themselves onto these characters instead. And then there's the most disturbing ritual of all, one that came to light through horrified employees. As you can see throughout this video, we use
100% agree, people not supposed to be allowed to being led in the places like this in the full costume. You can imagine only the guy who really likes children's, who's gonna who gonna have costume of Pluto, and he gonna try to play with them, you know. So 100% yes for that.
Use a lot of stock footage. And one thing that never really gets talked about with video creation is just how much time gets burned finding the right assets. Not just the editing, but hunting for the footage, the music, the sound effects, graphics, all across different sites. Which is why I'm proud to say this video is sponsored by Storyblocks. We've been using them throughout all of these videos for years, because Storyblocks gives you unlimited downloads of really high quality stock media with just a simple monthly subscription. There's no per asset fees, no surprise licensing issues, just access images, content. And like we've swapped mute time of things like everything forever.com, final resting place, or click the link in the description below. Disney adults often choose Disneyland as the final resting place for the remains of their loved ones. Employees have taken to social media to admit that they regularly have to go and clean the ashes of a dead person.
One custodian told the Journal the Haunted Mansion probably has so much human ashes in it that it's not even funny. Now, custodians told the Wall Street Journal that the job requires a special vacuum cleaner, which comes out at least once a month.
Disneyland is now recognized as one of the most popular places on Earth to scatter ashes. Employees receive special training on how to clean ashes. The company even has a special code word grandma to alert employees that more ashes need to be cleaned. While it's quite morbid for us to think that these people's ashes are being vacuumed up by a 17-year-old on minimum wage and dumped in a bin with leftover turkey drumsticks, for Disney adults it's a fitting end to a Disney life. So from birthdays to weddings to death, every stage of life channeled through the same corporation. The psychoanalyst Eric Fromm called this automaton conformity, the idea that people escape the anxiety of freedom by adopting pre-packaged identities. You don't have to figure out who you are if someone's already done it for you. You don't have to face the terror of choice if the choices have already been made. This is exactly what Disney offers, a full identity off of the shelf. Your character, your aesthetic, your community, all handed to you in a gift shop bag. They go so far as to engineer the physical environment to make sure it sticks. The parks use patented scent cannons, called smellitzers, hidden in walls and vents, firing specific fragrances at you hundreds of times a day. The olfactory system, meaning your sense of smell, connects directly to the brain regions for emotion and memory, which is exactly why Disney invested so heavily in scent engineering. There are also over 30,000 unique paint colors across the parks, including a shade called Go Away Green, specifically designed to make infrastructure invisible to guests. The background music in the morning is fast and exciting. Evening music slows down to make you linger and shop. So the brainwashing extends from the physical environment and parks, which still constitutes the vast majority of Disney's profits, to its sprawling digital empire of content and franchises. They started handing each film to a different director with a different vision and no shared outline. For Star Wars, they spent 2 films building up the villain Snoke, then killed him off with no explanation and then patched it over with somehow Palpatine returned. A line so lazy it became a meme as soon as the credits rolled. Then there was the infamous Snow White, which we've made tons of videos on before. Hundreds of millions were spent on a remake.
Okay, but the Snow White really was a tragic movie. I saw it and I didn't like it. And I need to add more that I saw it without knowing about marketing. So that's not only what someone created in their heads. I think the main idea of this movie, it was just crap. It was just crap.
Where the lead called the original weird and the princess stalker,
with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
while the romance was gutted in favor.
In my opinion, movie like this could be remade, but in the way how he was created on the beginning. But to replace it on the left-sided ideology to make understand some of the people how the world's supposed to look right now, we say no to this, guys. We say no. And you can type how you want and how much you want on the internet, and you can scream on the streets, but healthy-minded people, smart enough people with IQ a little bit higher than 70 can see the patterns. And the thing is, if you're gonna give me a sandwich, maybe I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
Of Gorbos leadership arcs nobody asked for, where the dwarves were replaced with CGI and it completely bombed and everybody hated it, completely desecrating the original loved one. There's a pattern across everything Disney touches now where ideology takes priority over storytelling. We've seen it with the conflicts in politics in Florida with just the parks alone, but also in movies and TV, characters are constantly rewritten to represent something, where villains have become strawmen for whatever ideological message the writers want to push. The old Disney movies at least told universal stories about love, loss, courage and fear that could touch everyone. Now even Bob Iger himself had to publicly admit that Disney had been putting, quote, messaging over storytelling, and that he would finally no longer tolerate it. When the CEO of a company is saying that out loud, you know the rot has gone deep.
Enemy down.
But Disney adults, as visible and extreme as they are, only represent the most obvious layer. They're the ones who wear their loyalty openly, but many of us contribute too, and often without realizing we're doing it. Star Wars, Marvel and Pixar fans didn't sign up for Disney. Disney just comes for all of us. If you probably watch anything on TV, it's coming for you. When Disney buys these companies, it acquires fandoms. Entire generations of people who had built deep emotional connections to these franchises suddenly found themselves at the company's mercy. And in some cases, the result has been nothing short of vandalism, as we saw with the failed Star Wars movies and series, or the constant Marvel reruns that seem to get worse and worse and worse, let alone all the countless other franchises ruined in the blatant crusade of profit extraction. Now, you might roll your eyes at a grown woman sobbing over Goofy or Mickey Mouse, but Disney is an all-consuming beast that might destroy something you love eventually. We've mentioned it many times with films like Snow White, as this all tells us the most insidious thing about how the company operates. It isn't purely extrinsic, something bottled onto modern culture from the outside. It's intrinsic to our memories, our feelings, our sense of what safety and happiness mean. A company whose influence has grown inside of us since childhood. And it starts with something most of us completely underestimate. I mean, just think about some iconic Disney moments. Different films, different decades, different characters, but the same feeling. That warmth in your chest, that tug backwards to somewhere safe and simple. And don't get me wrong, in many cases, there is great cinema with Disney. The mere existence of Disney adults doesn't negate everything Disney has ever done. This is a company that captures something universal about childhood. The wonder, the safety, the simplicity, the beauty, the innocence, and put it into words and pictures in a way nobody has ever done before. And that turned out to be the recipe for insane success. It allowed America's soft power to expand across the world. And there's a word for the feeling Disney films try so hard to create, and it's older and more powerful than most people ever realize. Nostalgia. and it comes from two ancient Greek words, nostos meaning to return home, and algos meaning pain. It was actually coined as a medical diagnosis in the 17th century to describe the crippling homesickness of Swiss soldiers fighting abroad who longed for their homeland so desperately that some became physically ill. Nostalgia isn't happiness, it's closer to a kind of grief, a yearning for something you once had or think you had that you can never fully return to. And that's what makes it so commercially potent. If the feeling were wholly satisfying, you'd experience it once and move on. But nostalgia pulls you back again and again because it never quite delivers what it promises. Disney enthusiasts are suspended in that nostalgia cycle, and it's highly addictive. We all probably reminisce about childhood or when we were young and nothing mattered, but Disney positioned itself to capitalize on that wistful emotion. Of course, Disney didn't invent nostalgia, but they were the first to understand how essential it is to our human experience. They recognized it as an unresolved need, and if you could make yourself the answer to its calling, you'd make people dependable. The fertile ground for this was childhood. That's where our deepest emotional connections are formed, and for a company whose long-term survival depended on those connections lasting well beyond childhood, their work had to start there. So Disney invested enormous resources into understanding how children form emotional bonds, psychological research into their emotional drivers, how they interpret symbols, what feels authentic versus manufactured. They used those findings to calibrate their films with specific color palettes, certain music intervals, and certain narrative beats, all to create maximum emotional renaissance in developing brains. We associate a lot of this work with big tech, but Disney, funnily enough, was there first. Before the 90s and 2000s, the big commercial problem was still that children's films, even the most successful ones, don't turn a company into a conglomerate. Disney's parks were making the serious money. But while you can hook children in with films while they're young, they aren't the ones with money to spend at the parks. They needed to tap into that adult money. And look at Walt Disney himself explaining this.
Were your films principally designed for children?
Well, no, you have to appeal to the adult, or, well, the adults have the money, the children don't have any money.
So they had to crack adulthood, and luckily, an early Disney movie, Peter Pan, provided the perfect solution. You have to stop people from growing up. Disney later
Great repost. One of the best ever, what I heard. He just shut down.
It summed up the strategy in 2 words, age decompression, and it comes into its own in the last 10 to 20 years. We've been sold the idea that adulthood is a rude awakening, and of course it feels like that sometimes. Work, bill, rent, stress, disappointment in friendships, relationships. In this real world, people don't burst into song on the street unless they're intoxicated or going through some sort of mental crises. Strangers glare at you for making eye contact. You spend your days in cramped flat shares, walking concrete streets, working in glass offices. Not extraordinary places bursting with colour and life. This isn't what you were promised throughout childhood. You're a princess, a prince, a chosen one, just waiting to be discovered. But the problem is that when you treat adults like children long enough, they start to behave like them. The infantilization of culture is now endemic to society. It's my safe space, I'm protecting my energy, this is my self-care. We've built an entire vocabulary around retreating from challenges and wrapped it in the language of mental health, which makes it impossible to question. If someone says Disney is their safe space, what are you gonna do? Tell them that their feelings are wrong? Attacking their coping mechanism? You'd sound like a monster. And that's the shield. Corporations love this because a customer who believes they need your product for their emotional well-being and life is a customer for life. So what do you do when adult life just does feel too intense? Well, you go back to your safe place. Now we all turn to our favorite form of escapism when we're in a rough patch. Some play the video games they played as kids.
We all have it. We all have it. Place in the comment, what's your safe space?
Or cook food they had as kids. It's okay to escape occasionally. But when manufactured on an empire global corporate level, escaping becomes a trap its subjects willfully live in because the alternative is too frightening.
My safe space is English language.
Ever since childhood, they've been made long-term, lifelong
Run Windows, Linux, and more on your Mac with unmatched performance and
consumers. The psychoanalyst Erich Fromm called this automaton conformity, the idea that people escape the anxiety of freedom by adopting pre-packaged identities. You don't have to figure out who you are if someone's already done it for you. You don't have to face the terror of choice if the choices have already been made. So in this sense, escapism might be the biggest misnomer of the century. People are going to the same place, consuming the same stories, riding the same rides, wearing the same ears year after year. There's no true exploration, just the illusion of exploration mirrored in a form that feels safe and easy. You might have heard of Plato's allegory of the cave, which is one of the world's oldest thought experiments. Inside the cave, the prisoners are chained up facing a wall watching shadows flicker in the firelight. They've never been outside to see the real world, and the shadows are all they know. So to them, the shadows are the real world. The important bit is what happens when one prisoner finally gets dragged outside. The sunlight is blinding, the real world is overwhelming, confusing, and just too much to process. You might feel like this when you're about to start a real adventure. You might step off the train, plane, or bus in an entirely new place and feel anxious yet excited trepidation. It could also be something like starting a new job, going to a new school, or heading to university for the first time. It's uncomfortable by definition. This isn't your comfort zone. This is what makes it an adventure, and eventually you become more comfortable. These are the moments where life happens. But when someone feels thrown into the unknown, their first instinct tends to be that they want to go back. Disney manufactured a fake representation of adventure that keeps people cocooned inside their cave, and honestly, it's kind of evil genius. For the most extreme followers, it made the cave so beautiful, so emotionally optimized, so perfectly calibrated that the real world just could never compete at all. But Plato's point wasn't that the cave is evil, it's that the prisoner who stays there will never know what they're missing. You can't miss a sunset you've never seen, you can't long for depth you've never experienced. The cave doesn't feel like a cage, that's the deeper problem. And this is where this whole video stops being about a story on Disney adults and becomes a story about all of us. Because making us feel comfortable with the cave is the dominant strategy behind social media, behind every streaming service, and lately, generative AI. Every app on your phone is designed around the principle to keep it simple, keep it rewarding, keep them coming back. Swipe right, swipe left, like, subscribe, follow. Don't make anyone think too hard, don't make anyone wait, don't make anyone uncomfortable. Reduce every interaction to its simplest possible form and repeat it infinitely. They create environments where the content is familiar, the rewards are predictable, and the outside world, with all its friction and ambiguity, starts to feel like too much effort. Disney has been pioneering this model for 100 years, targeting psychological engineering at children, building an empire driven by profit extraction at a level that puts people into more debt than substance abuse, brainwashing you since you're a child to always stay a lifelong Disney consumer. And the greatest trick they played was making the fake world feel like enough, making the fake experience feel like a life. That's what makes the cave feel so complete that the prisoners never even think to look for the door. But don't be fooled into thinking this is some far-flung issue situated inside a theme park in Florida. You might find yourself or someone you know sitting right there with them, watching the shadows dancing on the wall. And thanks to Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check them out using the link in the description below.
Great video, Mon. Super. So now we know a lot more about Disney, guys, huh? So where we go on the trip? Hello, Carissa. Welcome again. Oh shit.
Vidu Q3. Vidu Q3.
Vidu Q3 is coming.
Oh boy, we got another huge.
Okay. Massive Valve gambling lawsuit. Now I'm
Oh
curious.
boy, we got another huge lawsuit against Valve that just popped up today. Recently, Valve's been catching lawsuits like Pokemon, and they are fresh off a W against the Rothschilds. Only a week ago, they squeaked out this huge W against the Rothschilds. I can't emphasize enough just how impressive that is to beat them. That's like beating Umbrella Corp. Like that was an incredible win for Valve there. And now they immediately go into round 2 here with a lawsuit from the New York Attorney General Letitia James, basically claiming that Valve knowingly promotes illegal gambling with their loot boxes in games like CS2, Dota 2, and TF2 that is accessible and even targeted at minors. Now, this is far from the first time this has been a big subject. In fact, many of you might remember in 2018, Belgium actually had a loot box ban. This was during the incredible EA era where they put their own dick in their ass as much as possible with the, sense of pride and accomplishment and surprise.
Yes, that's true. But that's not only a Belgium stuff. I remember when in Netherlands they banned Diablo Immortal because of pay to win. And we can just talk about other games, what was banned because of this strategy of monetizing content.
Mechanic spin they tried to put on like loot boxes and shit. And Belgium eventually ruled that it was predatory, it was a game of chance that would lead to profit or loss, and thus they banned it in Belgium. And fast forward to today, you can't open CS cases in Belgium, it seems. Now, at the time, this was a pretty big deal, and the US and the UK also tried to make arguments that, yeah, this does constitute gambling, but as they went through the process, they then declared that it's not really gambling because you're getting an actual in-game item.
Of course. Anyway, you're gonna get something. Some items can be less worth, some items can be higher worth, of course, but the thing is, you're getting something. In gambling, let's say, I just talk about Netherlands. In Netherlands, casinos are legal. If you go into many places, you have really big casinos built over there, and many people is walking, many people is playing. The thing is, in Poland, another example, the gambling is forbidden. But you can gamble on the sport. You can just go to it's called Totalizator Sportowy, and they are able to create different types of gambling. How to say this? They can make lotteries and things like this. Plus, also sport. Let's say who gonna kick how many times in the boxing match, who gonna win the football match. Typical shit,
You're not getting money. But
poker forbidden.
Now, to today, they are now saying that because it has grown so much, this ecosystem through these loot boxes where some items are selling for thousands of dollars, or even the famous AK that sold for $1 million not that long ago. And then there's also like these third-party sites that are using CS cases and CS items to instantly turn it into money, where it is just full-blown gambling casinos based around CS items. So they are saying that, Valve can no longer use the excuse of, no, it's just in-game cosmetic items. They are now saying that it isn't just a cosmetic in-game item, it carries very real monetary value that leads to people getting addicted to gambling and trying to win them, fundamentally. Now, it seems like Valve might have seen the writing on the wall at some point, because they have been making changes to the way this functions in CS. So, like, they have done, like, Genesis Terminal, stuff like that, to try and change things around a little bit to avoid falling into hot water, but the hot water has come. And Valve is far from the only gaming company that has mechanics like this. It's a very standard industry norm now when it comes to like loot boxes and cosmetics that carry real world value, especially in mobile.
Yes, almost every service or maybe even every service-based game have cosmetics or pay to win or cases, skins.
Games, for example, and other companies have been hit in the past by lawsuits alleged.
Even in the single players. And as an example, we have Assassin's Creed or from Ubisoft. Shout out to Ubisoft.
Illegal gambling practices in their games. Valve is just the latest target, and they are by far the biggest one. And in the lawsuit, there is some really sketchy stuff. Like, there is a whole section about games causing violence. For some reason, they decided to just fucking toss that little sour.
Yeah, but we have this subject from the moment when the games popped out. It was always the subject. Always.
Nugget in there for no fucking reason. The most dunked upon, the most spit upon, the most debunked nonsense talking point ever. They decided to slide into this lawsuit against Valve on illegal gambling practices. And also, they have very misleading stuff in there, like this section here, where they're saying that they have these near miss mechanics where they'll show you the gold item and then you'll stop one slot right before it. You'll get the worthless item right next to it while seeing the gold to keep you hooked, like, oh, I was that close, I'll get back into the Crucible now. Except that doesn't happen in CS anymore. That hasn't been the case since, like, what, fucking 8 years ago or something? They changed that a long time ago. If you see a gold, you're getting a gold. If it was a red item there, then that would be real, but that screenshot they show there is just fraudulent. And also, apparently, it's taken from an Oni Pixel stream where he even got the gold item there.
Okay. So I was playing in Counter-Strike in the times when really it was like this. You many times you could see, maybe not many times, but you had situations. I not, because I didn't bought the cases because I had no cash then, and you had this near misses. But if they fabricated this Photoshop to show how it's supposed how it is right now, they fucked up. That's the argument what they're gonna throw out of from their hands in the first session.
You can actually see a Twitch chat with an emote from Oni Pixel. And when they tracked down the exact stream the screenshot is from, he actually wins the knife in the clip. So just blatant misinfo.
Like you and they.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
That's a certified objection moment right there. That is just blatantly wrong. On purpose. That is very, very deceptive there. So, anyway, there is some funkiness in this lawsuit that's very fishy. Anyway, we're going to get more into the nitty-gritty here in a moment that I was going through on stream. But I do believe most people agree that CS skins and the skin economy, the cases, and all of the shit that's spawned as a result of it, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry here from the cosmetics. I think most people agree it does very much revolve around gambling. That is a real thing, and that means it'll be a really interesting...
Of course, that's the whole subject is about, because years ago it wasn't a thing, but in the moment when everybody saw that it is popping and you can really gain cash on it, besides of paying only for the game, you can also have more interaction with money inside of the game. Of course, that's from the gambling, but it is not a gambling. Gambling is when you have situations 70-0, 80-0, 90-0, 50-0. In here, in every scenario, you have 100% to win, but you never know what you're gonna win. So it's gambling, but it's not a gambling. It's like sister of it. It's sister of the gambling. You know what I mean?
Interesting lawsuit to see how it all shakes out, because I think it will be difficult for Valve to once again say, like, no, these are just in-game items, there's no, like, real money there at all, because it's a huge industry now. And this is a very big deal lawsuit that would have wide-reaching effects across many different games, because again, it's not like Valve is the only one that has things like this. Even League of Legends has Hextech cases or crates and Hextech keys, so this is a very big lawsuit. I do find it interesting that they've gone after Valve here for their first big fish, especially in an era where things like fucking Polymarket and Kalshi are extremely accessible to literally everyone and are, by all possible definitions, just gambling, despite how they try and spruce it up by calling it, well, prediction market, that kind of shit. I am somewhat surprised that they wouldn't start going after them when that is becoming very normalized, to the point where even fucking CNN has a Kalshi partnership. Instead, they would rather go hog wild and laser focus on Valve of all things. That is an interesting decision, if you ask me. You heard Valve is being sued by the New York Attorney General for promoting illegal gambling through loot boxes? I did. In the lawsuit, they say video games cause violence and Valve is responsible. In the gambling lawsuit, they say that? New York sues Valve, alleging its loot boxes are quintessential gambling. Letitia James seeks to stop Valve from promoting gambling features in games like CS2. Since when does Verge not let you read articles without paying? Okay, last time I go on Verge. Citing the alleged promotion of gambling towards minors, Letitia James is suing Valve. Lawsuit claims this is in direct contradiction to the state's regulations on the matter, and the end goal, should the court rule in James' favor, is to put an end to these practices and require fees to be paid in reparation. Landmark lawsuit, should it prove successful, would be another tidal wave in a long-running gaming practice that has faced significant setbacks over the many years since loot boxes first became a popular money-making tool among US-based publishers. I'm old enough to remember when EA tried to rebrand them as surprise mechanics. Illegal gambling can be harmful and lead to serious addiction problems, especially for our young people. The value of Counter-Strike skins rose significantly in recent years, attracting speculators and investors who viewed these virtual items as potentially lucrative digital assets. That is true. We've seen a single weapon command a $1 million real-world price tag on CS2's marketplace. We've watched as the game has straight up crashed over valuation. And that's just Counter-Strike. Valve's really gone full hog, some might argue, with other games that happen to have 2 in their title, Dota 2, TF2, are the Attorney General's other big targets. Valve's loot box model can be especially harmful to children. They assert young users with limited funds can be enticed to start gambling through loot boxes in the hopes of attaining a virtual item that they believe will enhance their status in the game's virtual worlds. Research has shown that children who are introduced to gambling are 4 times more likely to develop a gambling problem later in life than those who are not. In addition, although this case is about illegal gambling, it is important to note that Valve's promotion of games that glorify violence and guns helps fuel the dangerous epidemic of gun violence, particularly among young gamers who can become numb to grave violence before their brains are fully developed. Yikes. Oh.
And yeah, of course. I actually, Counter-Strike players was one of the most polite people, and many of them was feminized. I would not say no. They was. Not everybody, but many of them, because of the lifestyle what they had. And I'm not talking only about the pro players or people who are playing non-stop, but about normal guys also. And I met them a lot in my life. So that's not the case. They just trying to create a reasons for the jury to push it harder. So they're gonna walk around the subject, and they're gonna create also a few different circles, and then they're gonna combine them to just go and take them to the court properly.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Holy shit. I just can't believe they still try this.
Yeah.
There are plenty of conversations to be had about loot box and gambling and all of that. I totally.
They will never stop because it's hard to figure out something else what's bad about the gaming. That's most common reasons what most people gonna agree with you and most people gonna disagree with you. So it's always gonna be confrontation in this type of subjects like valiance, sorry if I say it correct, gambling in these days. But I need to say, you guys, do you like paying in a game? Because from everybody what I know, no one like it. And when I was young, we all was fighting to not have it. Really, it was whole campaigns from the gamers to don't pay extra for extra features in the game. That's how it was. But they sniffed out business really fast from this. And I don't want to lie, but World of Warcraft, Counter-Strike, that was the first ones I think what made it really big. In Europe, also popular was Metin. And I remember on websites type Allegro, you also could buy gold, you also could buy skins, you also could buy skins, sorry. But yeah, skins also because you could buy the armor what was looking in certain way. So that's how it was before. Yeah.
I understand. That's been a conversational topic for years. This is just a dead fucking end, man. I can't believe they still bring this shit up. Actual yappuccino over nothing. I've never even understood the argument. Like, would books and movies not cause violence? Like Catcher in the Rye? You're not old enough to remember when they tried that exact same thing. Video games is just the latest target. Before video games, it was movies. Before movies, it was books. Like, it's always just a popular scapegoat to say this thing causes bad stuff. And then in between books and movies, it was music. Like Elvis, the devil music, stuff like that. They've always done that. It's just changing targets. Elvis.
Yes, I totally agree. Plus, additionally, you need to know that people who are playing games, not exactly they're not able to gamble like in real world. And I think that's also can be a subject because the amount of dopamine what we get when we playing games and when we have skins and when we play with our friends, and mostly for everything it's free, but additional features we pay. So right now, if you're gonna go to analog casino and you're gonna start clicking the machine, it's not that crazy for you. Your sensors are not that much touched by this machine because when you play before the screen, you get much more dopamine from it. You just know it. And me personally, I was few times on the machines. I never liked it. I never understood it, and for me it was just boring. And a few people who was a gamers also had similar situation, also have similar similar viewpoint on the subject. But I know that not everybody else are like this. That maybe was just my circle. Never know.
Elvis was the devil, to be fair. Well, I mean, Elvis was a bad guy, yeah, I get that. But rock and roll, here, to broaden it, rock and roll being the devil's music. That was a very popular thing. A very popular target. So what are we predicting? A Valve winning sweep? Well, this being thrown in here is complete useless gobbledygook. This is absolute mumbo-jumbo nonsense. I don't even know why it's ham-fisted into this. The actual lawsuit meat is somewhat interesting, and I'm very curious how it shakes out here. This is not the first lawsuit about loot boxes and gambling, specifically about, like, gambling that minors can partake in. Like, mobile games have gone through lawsuits similar to this, and it's never, like, resulted in anything.
I tried everything. Coffee, Pomodoro, and binaural beats. But nothing stuck until...
overly huge outside of like a couple of areas, so I guess we'll see. I'm very interested in this one. Valve is on a hot streak right now of W's. They just won that other lawsuit like fucking 4 days ago. Like, they've got a lot of momentum here. I wonder what Gabe Newell thinks of this lawsuit. You think he's going to leave his yacht over this one? Nah. Absolutely not. He's too busy out there on the sea, researching, shooting the hoops, shooting some hoops, grinding. I thought he sold his yacht. Did he get a new one? Do you not know about Gabe Newell and yachts? Dude loves yachts so much, he bought an entire fucking shipyard that produces the yacht that he likes. So now he has a yacht manufacturer for himself. And just got a $500 million research vessel. What was the name of that shipyard, actually? Because I hope he renamed it just to make it like Gabe Newell's Fun Factory or some shit. It's a Dutch yacht builder named Ocean Co. He keeps getting sued so much he's escaping the international waters. I bet Gabe Newell doesn't even know that his company has been in these lawsuits. I bet he has no fucking clue. He just gets infinite money checks every probably.
Yeah, maybe someone just told him like, oh, we have new suit today about this and this, and he probably was like, oh, okay, I hope you're gonna take care of it. I believe in you guys. That's why you're here.
Quarter, I would say he probably gets paid out quarterly or something. Maybe I don't know how they do dividends over there, but he just gets infinite money, and he's like, all right, that's cool. Yeah, go back to doing whatever you're doing. I'm busy. Get the fuck off my yacht. Yeah, I have no idea how this one's going to shake out because this is like a very contentious subject. Because I mean, at the core of it, it is gambling. Very much so. It definitely is. Always has been. Everyone knows that. So I wonder what'll happen. Probably nothing would be my guess. They should have targeted EA, much easier to beat them. EA's already been targeted. So I feel like they didn't want to do the same target again.
So
it's rare that I can't yet.
I remember on websites type Allegro, you also could buy gold, you also could buy skins, you also could buy skins. Sorry, but yeah, skins also because you could buy the armor what was looking in certain way. So that's how it was before. Yeah.
Understand that's been a conversational topic for years. This is just a dead fucking end, man. I can't believe they still bring this shit up. Actual yappuccino over nothing. I've never even understood the argument. Like, would books and movies not cause violence? Like Catcher in the Rye? You're dead fucking end, man. I can't.
People with the money and freedom to go anywhere then because the alternative
Emphasize enough just how impressive that is to beat them. That's like beating Umbrella Corp. Like that was an incredible win for Valve there. And now they immediately go into round 2 here with a lawsuit from the New York Attorney General Letitia James basically claiming that Valve knowingly promotes illegal gambling with their loot boxes in games like CS2, Dota 2, and TF2 that is accessible and even targeted at minors. Now, this is far from the first time
Chat, how's the volume? Wait, I'm loud?
Your voice is just naturally louder than everyone else's. Not in like a bad way, but I was like, dang, I'm kind of jealous because my voice is like kind of strained because I force project my voice because my voice is naturally really quiet and I got yelled at it a lot in school.
Really? For being too quiet?
Yeah, the teachers were always like, we can't hear you, speak up. So now my voice is all like gravelly and I just talk like this normally now.
Oh,
but
God.
It really strains my throat. Which is
Oh,
like,
so you have to like talk
yeah,
like
that's-
naturally deeper
yeah,
because...
people always ask like, why does it sound like she's about to cry? It's because I'm like straining my throat.
Oh my God, wait, so what would you talking normally sound like?
I can't even like do it anymore because I'm not used to it. Like, I guess like this would be like natural. Like kind of like, yeah, like this.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn, they f***ed you up.
But it doesn't feel natural anymore because I'm
Yeah.
used to talking like this
You used
now.
to, damn, you used to strain your voice? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just used to it now, so now it's become my natural voice.
Chat, how's the volume?
Oh, shit.
Set in a fictional West African country, Resident Evil 5's primary antagonists are black people.
No, they are not. Maybe they are to you, but in the game they are infected by a virus. Very similar to the Lost Plagueis. As a matter of fact, it is actually the same as Lost Plagueis in the lore. I think it's like mutated or something. I can't really quite remember. But in Resident Evil 4, they're infected. The villagers. The Spaniard villagers are all infected. They have no say, no choice in this at all. There's even a quote in the game, it's from the clip you literally pull up, where Shiva's sad and she's like, how could someone do this to them? How could someone infect these people?
How could someone do this to them? Get out! Set in a fictional West African country, Resident Evil 5's primary antagonists are black.
First ever Jinxie food review, we got Taco Bell's cinnamon twists. That is drier than the Sahara Desert. Oh. 6 out of 10. Next clip of the day. This is what the lady at the counter told me to get. Baja Blast, 8.8 out of 10. This right here, one more bite. This tastes like cafeteria food, like a high school cafeteria. A lunch lady would serve this over the counter. That lady had the audacity to say this is the best thing on their menu. 4.8 out of 10. Why the fuck is my cheese cold? Why is there fucking lettuce in there? The only thing she listened to was no sour cream. Taco Bell, this is the first and last Jinxie food review you've ever gotten, so listen the fuck up. 5 out of 10. No, 3 out of 10. First ever Jinxie food review, we got Taco Bell's cinnamon twists.
Sprint into the northwest corner outside of the window, and then you're gonna look at the top left corner of this third design in the roof. From there, you will just take your crosshairs up into the clouds, and you're gonna see this very, very faint, small cloud that's just a little bit bigger than your crosshair. You can literally just place your crosshair on that little dot of a cloud, and from there, you can simply stand still and throw your grenade for a perfect landing every single time. You guys already know we can't even cook grenades, and so these far grenade throws are even better because people are gonna have such a small reaction
they cook
time.
in
You
midair.
literally have like 1 second to get out of there.
4 seconds. Oh my god. Boys, they went hookah and billiards. Boys, they went hookah and billiards. We could try the grenade. We could try the grenade. We could try the grenade. Guys, we could try the grenade. Maybe?
Sprint into the northwest corner outside of the window.
Yep, you read that right. Twitch is finally going to be allowing you to combine chats on your stream. For those of you not in the know, Twitch used to not allow you to multi-stream at all. Well, eventually, Twitch said, okay, we're scrapping that. You can multi-stream now, but you're not allowed to display a combined chat overlay on your stream. Oh, and by the way, you're also not allowed to stream at a higher quality on YouTube than on Twitch. Twitch has to be the highest quality. I just don't understand why Twitch is so weird about multi-streaming. They're like a jealous girlfriend that's so desperate to make sure that you don't have any eyes for anyone else. Only Twitch. Imagine you're answering a question over on YouTube. Wouldn't you want your Twitch viewers to also be included in the conversation? Why would Yep.
Twitch dumbest.
Yep.
I almost read it. Twitch dumbest rule finally got reserved. Let's see what is it. Let's see what it's about. Where is the sound?
Yep. You read that right. Twitch is finally going to be allowing you to combine chats on your stream. For those of you not in the know, Twitch used to not allow you to multi-stream at all. Well, eventually, Twitch said, okay, we're scrapping that. You can multi-stream now, but you're not allowed to display a combined chat overlay on your stream. Oh, and by the way, you're also not allowed to stream at a higher quality on YouTube than on Twitch. Twitch has to be the highest quality. I just don't understand why Twitch is so weird about multi-streaming. They're like
Yeah, I know what he mean. I know what he mean. It's like McDonald's being jealous about the KFC and Burger King, so that's bad example. Girlfriend, jealous girlfriend. What she's jealous that you're looking at the other girls, and she's like, don't look at him, look at me, and she's pulling you like, that's annoying. No one likes that. That's a little bit sketchy, you know.
Like a jealous girlfriend that's so desperate to make sure that
no way he gonna tell this shit.
You don't have any eyes for anyone else, only Twitch. Imagine you're answering a question over on YouTube. Wouldn't you want your Twitch viewers to also be included in the conversation? Why would you take that ability away from streamers? It just doesn't make sense. The only explanation I can think of is Twitch is scared that you're gonna realize that you have other options. So they want you to pretend like those other options don't exist. Well, earlier this week, multi-streaming was once again put under the spotlight. Gigak, I don't know how to say his name, but Gigak got a warning from Twitch for violating this combined chat rule.
So I got in a little bit of trouble because it is against terms of services to combine Twitch chats and YouTube chats into one chat.
Gigak, if you don't know, is a massive YouTuber that's just a guy who talks about anime. So most of his audience, they're not streamers. So they had no idea that this was even a rule to begin with. Last year, I also got suspended for having a combined chat on my stream. And I believe that the only reason why that happened was because I actually built my own combined chat overlay and then I gave it to you guys to use in your streams. I know there was some confusion that, oh, maybe it was like for a completely different reason. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I know for a fact the reason it got banned was because I had a combined chat overlay that I made. Apparently it pissed Twitch enough that they not only suspended me, but they unlisted all of the highlights on my Twitch account.
That's how it ends, my friend. That's how it ends.
Because all of them had the combined chat overlay. If
you wanna go from this side, and they are coming to you on this. With a bigger white clock.
You go to my Twitch account right now, there's no highlights at all. That's the reason why. My suspicion is they thought that I was gonna cuck out and then take down my widget and then also run to YouTube and then warn you guys not to use it. Do you fucking know who I am? Anyway, that's a really long backstory. All of that's in the past now because Dan Clancy just confirmed on his podcast they will no longer be enforcing this combined chat rule anymore.
So to be clear, we are updating our enforcement guidelines to make sure we are not issuing enforcement actions for integrating combined chat on the video from your stream, such as what happened. Okay, go.
So yeah, going forward,
not often we can say it, guys, but that was one of the great decisions. I'm glad. Actually, at this moment, I don't have any chat at my stream. But right now, I'm gonna check it, how to do it, and I'm gonna place it. I'm gonna do it immediately after this.
It sounds like you're not gonna have to worry about getting suspended for combining chats on screen, which is such a stupid thing to even worry about considering all the other stuff that goes on at Twitch. You don't have to separate chats. You don't have to do some weird workaround. They didn't specify whether you had to show platform icons or anything. It sounds like you could just merge chats and display them however you want. Dan Clancy also said a few months ago that they also wouldn't be enforcing that other rule. Previously, you couldn't stream in like a super high quality 4K resolution on YouTube, but then only do a 1080p resolution on Twitch. Twitch had to be the same quality or better than all the other platforms that you're streaming to. That's gone as well. It sounds like Twitch is just giving up and they're finally starting to realize, oh shit, streamers are leaving the platform. They're sick of walking on eggshells all the time.
Well, the second part about quality, I would say that wasn't a bad idea for Twitch to do it. Especially if other platforms are letting you to making streams in 4K or some 4K. I would say I don't even know you can stream in Twitch in 4K, but if yes, then okay. If not, it's gonna be a little bit shot into the knee, because later on people gonna start talking about better qualities on different websites. Maybe they made also this move because they planning to give possibility to stream in 4K. If we have 4K right now, great. I didn't even check it. I'm not able to do it. That's my third day of streaming, I think, at this moment. But all of this news for streamers are better.
So we don't really have another option. So we're just gonna let you do the thing that you've been asking for years. Now, he did go on to say that you are, of course, still responsible for moderating your other chats. So if you're multi-streaming to YouTube, you need to make an active effort to ban people that are like shouting racial slurs at you all stream. And given my experience streaming to other platforms, you might have to do that pretty often. If you're looking for a good tool for combining chats, I highly recommend using StreamerBot. It's super customizable, supports 7 TV emotes, it's got all of the badges and stuff, but most importantly, it's got all of the built-in tools that you'll need for banning viewers, deleting sussy messages. So if you need to moderate multiple chats, you can do it really easily in StreamerBot. If you're looking for one to use as an overlay for your stream, there's a lot of good ones. I'm just gonna chill for myself. I built my own multi-chat overlay. This is the one that I've been using on my streams personally. I put it up on my website, NuttyGG. It's completely free to use. There's tons of customization options. You can change the fonts, toggle profile pictures, badges. There's even an option that will let your viewers post images and then have them show up in your stream. I would recommend setting this setting to subs only mode because this will definitely be abused. There's also a super minimal horizontal version. This one just scrolls along the bottom of your stream, so it doesn't take up a lot of space in your overlay. And for those of you that are on the $10 tier on NuttyGG, first of all, thank you for supporting the channel. I also released a special bullet style version, kind of like the ones you see on those Japanese websites. I posted a video about this on Twitter. A lot of you guys saw that. That tweet kind of blew up. This one is a members only widget.
Damn, he have a lot of toys behind him. Someone knows that's collectibles. That's his collection, or that's only things what he have from the time when he was small. Let me know.
But don't worry, you can cancel after 1 month and you can keep the widget forever. Okay. I'm not going to remote disable the widget just because you stopped giving me money. You can just pay $10 one time and then cancel your subscription. That's totally fine. But if you are a member, you will also get access to all of my other member exclusive widgets. I've got a lot more coming in the future. I'm working on one right now for running cross-platform polls. So all your viewers across Twitch, Kick, and YouTube can all vote in the same poll. That one's going to be a part of that $10 tier, at least to start. So stay tuned for that one. Yeah, that's right. I'm advertising my own shit in my own video. What are you gonna do about it? You're gonna unview the video? Anyway, come follow me on Twitch. I stream twice a week, or actually, I'm a multi-streamer. So you could also watch me on YouTube or on Kick. I build a lot of widgets that you guys can add to your stream. So if you want to give me suggestions in real time, then check out my stream. I'll also, yeah, I had some other stuff to say, but you don't care about that. Check out 90GG if you want to check out some of the other widgets I built. See you later.
See you later, alligator. I'm gonna thumbs up. Good video. Thank you.
some videos just don't have that pop that the 1440p can provide. You can also downscale this to 1080p if you'd like. So you got options there if you want to use 720p. It's all there. So I typically give the common FPS values and use 60 frames per second. Again, depends on your monitor and really what kind of frame rates you want to use for file sizes. Like 30 frames versus 60 frames, you kind of assume it's going to be a good double in size. Hotkeys, we can really set this up however you see fit, but there's a lot of useful ones here. You can also use something like a stream deck to monitor your different scene changes and things like that. Accessibility, and into the advanced, we got different things for our video. Again, the renderer, we're using the DirectV 11. Color format, I'm going to keep it ND12. I think these are mostly all defaults. Color space, the Rec 709, unless you're using an HDR monitor, I would usually just keep this Rec 709 and then your SDR light ranges, so how many hits at the brightest and peak, etc. This, you're usually not going to mess around too much with this unless you know exactly what the HDR values are on your computer. But that really is it for me. If you ever record file format, depends how you want it to be formatted in the file name. I like to just keep it as is, because it's got that mentally easy to recall, like which is which. Stream delay you can set if you want, but I just leave it off. Automatically reconnect. If you're streaming, that's useful to have on. But this video, I guess, is more so for recording settings, but that is it. So, pretty straightforward what we're going to be going, what we wanted to set up here. It's mostly for this recording tab and input, so if you need to change any of these settings, it's all just right up here. P7, CPU level 18 works best for me, but what better is best for me might not for you. So, this is something you definitely want to try out. Maybe record a couple videos at 20, a couple videos at 60, see if you really notice the difference versus file size, and see if that quality difference is worth that extra storage with SSD or hard drive. So that's it. Best recording settings in OBS. Hope you found this video useful, and if you please subscribe button below. You can subscribe if you like. I'm trying to make some more helpful guides. Let me know what kind of content you want to see next. Thanks for watching.
Hello guys, welcome to our channel. Do you want to level up your party chat in Discord with different characters? Well, in today's video, we'll introduce you to the Discord voice changer to have fun or mess around with your friends. There are many voice changers on the market, such as VoiceFont, Cloudfish, and WooTechie Soundbot. Among these, I would recommend you WooTechie Soundbot Voice Changer. It has more voice filters and doesn't crash as often as VoiceFont, as well as it is easier to set up and be used in Discord than Cloudfish. WooTechie Soundbot is a professional voice changer tool on the computer that can be used for entertaining pranks, live chat,